the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening, Fade to Black, bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, man, how you doing? Today's Monday, June 20th, 2022. I would like to welcome everybody listening from all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer, and UnX Networks. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? All right. Oh, man, just got off of the Disclosure Fest weekend. Absolutely an incredible time this weekend. I'll talk more about that in just a minute. Tonight, kicking off another amazing week here on Fade to Black, CrewZ. That's right. CrewZ joins us for the first time. An amazing artist and musician. And we're going to be talking about all of that tonight. And consciousness from the streets. Yeah, you need to go and check out all of CrewZ's stuff, and his links are posted down below, and you can go and check out all of his music and videos and stuff. It's absolutely incredible. CrewZ is with us. I've been talking about and following him for years. And tonight, finally, I've got CrewZ on the show. Tomorrow night, Karen Dahlman is back with us. That's right. Tomorrow night, and we're going to be doing tomorrow night the history of Ouija 101. That's right. A master class. Tomorrow night, there will be a pop quiz. So get ready for that. And because we are able to do video now, she has got the extreme Ouija board collection and planchettes and stuff. And so we're going to go through all of that tomorrow night. It's going to be amazing with Karen Dahlman. So get ready. And Wednesday night, I promised, and this is going down. Wednesday night, David Palmer is with us. And, we had David on the show last week briefly for Disclosure Fest. And I've been wanting him on the show now for over a year. And his presentation at Disclosure Fest was electrifying. I'll get around to everything in just a bit, but captivating. Just strong, and I've got David Palmer with us on Wednesday night. I cannot wait for that. So great week. Thursday is another Fader night with open lines all night long. All right, that's our week this week on Fade to Black. What a weekend! What a weekend! Billy Carson flew in. Robert Grant. Laura Eisenhower. This was just on our stage. And I did a live stream. I'll talk more about this later. But when Trevor Hall hit the stage, the Disclosure, the Fade to Black tent was off on the other, this is a big place. And so we were off and away, and I didn't have a chance to get over to the main stage except for when I started the mass meditation. And there's videos out of that too as well. And I think it was live streamed. But I didn't get back to the main stage until Trevor Hall, but I did a live stream of that, of 3 or 4 songs. So if you go over to my Facebook page, and you can see the live stream there. I would have posted the live stream up on YouTube, but check this out. And I've tried to figure this out. But if you download a video that you've posted on Facebook, right? You do a live stream, and then you bring that over, that file, which is there. It's an MP4. It looks solid. You bring it. Oh, it doesn't have audio. It's weird. In your editing software, it'll play back, but it won't. It's weird. It's absolutely weird. So the only way I can do it is to extract the audio and then recombine it. And I just haven't had the time, but I'm going to get that up because Trevor Hall was absolutely amazing. So, but after all of that, today's only Monday, Sunday. Working on the show and getting other stuff done. I just haven't stopped working, and we're right back to Fade to Black today. So back in the swing of things. I feel like I haven't stopped. Well, it's because I haven't. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. You can follow me right there. I didn't post my pictures straight off of my phone. Every picture that I took at Disclosure Fest is over on my personal Facebook page. So if you want to go and check out those photos, they are there. And on Thursday night, I'll swing back around and get them into Twitter, and we'll talk about it on the show. Okay? All right. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. I did some posting today. I think I did a little yesterday, maybe, or was it just today? Can't remember. On Instagram. So head over to my Instagram page if you want to see some guitar stuff and music related things. And that's at Jimmy Church Radio over on Instagram. Okay. All right. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. There's Brad Olson. Okay. So I guess Brad Harris right now is posting on Twitter some pictures. So I'm just doing a basic retweet here for these. If you want to check them out, follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio, and you can go to the Sandbox too as well and check them out there. So as I can, man, these are great pictures, Brad. Well, Brad's a great photographer. These are great pictures. See, Brad hasn't sent these to me. No, Brad, instead of sending them to me, look at that. That's a great picture. Instead of sending it to me, he's just posting this stuff up on Twitter. I knew that. This is how Brad is. He keeps the good stuff for himself. Normally, I get a Dropbox, and even that takes a week or two. And no Dropbox from Brad. So... Yeah. Brad, I'll continue to retweet as I catch these during the show. It's a great pic of Laura Eisenhower. That's amazing. Brad, you're a great photographer, man. I'm very proud to call you friend. You have got talent. All right. Hashtag F2B. You can check out those pictures that are posting now. And then you can also follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio if that's too complicated for you. And you can check these out. Man, these are great pics, man. Wow. Man, I'm impressed. Okay, keep going, Brad. Keep going. Let's get to the breaking news. Do you guys know what tomorrow is? Do you know? Tomorrow's summer solstice. Summer solstice 2022 is tomorrow. It is the official start of summer in the Northern Hemisphere. It's going to occur tomorrow, June 21st at precisely 5:14 a.m. Eastern Time. 5:14 a.m. It is going down. Summer solstice 2022. All right. So is that the peak? Do the days get shorter from that point forward? Right? Oh man, I thought they were supposed to get longer, but I guess we are at the end of June. Does that mean summer is over? Well, summer solstice, it's midsummer. So, yeah, right? So, you know what? David Palmer is here on Wednesday. We'll ask David. Some crazy stuff went down today. Yeah. Are you ready? Because this morning, today, at 8:20 a.m. Pacific time, Northrop Grumman's Cygnus NG CRS-17 engine was scheduled to fire for 5 minutes. 1 second into the test, the cargo craft's ability to reboost the International Space Station in the future, the engine firing was aborted after 5 seconds. Cygnus mission director at Dulles, Virginia, reported that the cause for the abort is understood and under review. Later this afternoon, in their evening planning conference with the flight controllers in Houston, the crew informed that NASA and Northrop Grumman are working on a plan for Cygnus to try another reboost attempt as early as Saturday, June 25th, that would lead to Cygnus potentially departing for the space station next Tuesday, June 28th. The plan will be discussed within the International Space Station partners later this week. The reboost is designed to provide Cygnus with an enhanced capability for station operations as a standard service for NASA. ISS is still in the news because this afternoon, the International Space Station's Progress 81 thrusters fired for 4 minutes, 34 seconds. Why? Space debris. It was a space debris avoidance maneuver to provide the complex an extra measure of distance away from the predicted track of a fragment of a Russian Cosmos 1408. The thruster fired at 2:03 p.m. Central Time. The crew was never in any danger, and the maneuver had no impact on station operations. Without the maneuver, it was predicted that the fragment would have passed within a half mile from the station. And that's close. We're talking about space. Half mile is close anywhere you are. Well, check this out. A giant stingray on a fisherman's line. Okay? A giant stingray. Listen to this. On a fisherman's line in Southeast Asia may be the largest freshwater fish ever caught. It was 13 foot long, 661 pounds. Unbelievable. It was caught June 13th by 42-year-old fisherman, according to Hogan, who is also the host of Monster Fish on National Geographic Wild. Previously, a 9-foot Mekong giant catfish was caught in northern Thailand back in 2005, had been the heaviest freshwater fish caught. According to the Guinness Book of World Records, the catfish weighed 646 pounds. Incredible. Can you imagine? 13 foot long, 661 pound freshwater stingray. That is mind-blowing to me. Oh, wait a minute. Breaking news from Laura London. Laura London says, church. Summer solstice is the first day of summer in the northern hemisphere. Yes, that's what I just said. Oh, Laura, I was hoping for the breaking news. Do the days get shorter after tomorrow? That's my question. I thought Laura London was coming. Come on, Laura. Laura's the smartest fader-naut that we have, man, right there. Okay, Laura, get back to me on that. Do the days get shorter from here on out? I got to get Laura on the show. She keeps saying, yeah, okay. Yeah, I would love to. I'm pretty busy, though. I want Laura London on Fade to Black. I do. Laura, I'm calling you out. This has been going on for too many years. Laura, come on the show. Okay. In 6 months. Get back to me in 6 months. We've been doing that for 5 years. Let's get the show cracking. I love Laura London. She's the best. Let's get the show cracking. On this day in history, 1975, the film Jaws, directed by Steven Spielberg, that made countless people afraid to go into the water, including myself, opens in theaters. Now, here's the deal. This is how I can recall moments in my life, is on this day in history when I do this, because that means I was at my Aunt Carolyn's house in Michigan, and I spent the summer up there, and I watched Jaws. I went to the theaters, and at my Aunt Carolyn's house, my Uncle Al, at the time, he's no longer with us, had a construction company, Ames Construction, Al Ames, and they had a beautiful house, and they had an in-ground pool in the back. And I'm telling you, I was like 10, 11 years old. Was I 12? No, I was 11. And that pool was my hangout all summer long. In that pool, I was in that pool all day long. They couldn't take me out of it, and it was awesome. And then every day, I just got my beach towel down to the pool, beach towel down into the pool all day long. Had my what did they call those, fins? What did they call those? Had those. Had my snorkel, and man, I just did nothing but swim all day long. It was great. And then I went to go see Jaws, and woke up in the morning. Saw the movie the night before. Woke up in the morning. It's all good. Got my towel over my shoulder, down to the pool, put the towel down. Wasn't even, just did what I did every day. Dove in, and I'm swimming, and all of a sudden, dun 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 dun. I'm like, oh, I freaked. I flew out of the pool. I didn't touch the edge of the pool. I levitated, ran across the top of the water, sat. My Aunt Carolyn comes out. She goes, "What's up? Nothing. What's up? Why aren't you in the pool?" "Oh, I'm cool. Ate breakfast. Don't want to cramp up." Okay. She knew. Oh, man. I didn't get back in the pool that summer. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. Fader fact. Third stone. That was me, right? Man. Yeah. Love Jaws. Love it. Okay, fader fact. One of my favorite movies of all time is The Fifth Element. And the diva, she was amazing. In that scene with the diva, the concert, right? Bruce Willis in the front row. You remember that. Incredible, right? All of that. Well, that's my fader fact today. Because the operatic song in The Fifth Element, in that scene, composer Eric Sierra purposely wrote unsingable things so she'd sound like an alien. And that is your fader fact. Yeah, it's an incredible scene. I'll never forget the first time I saw it. I was like, man, whoa. And now you know that was done on purpose. You guys are having fun with me. Okay, let me see. Did Laura give me the update? Laura, where's my update? I want to know if the days get longer. You said it. Well, you said it was midsummer. Yes, the days get shorter from now until winter solstice. And Church replied to my emails. Why don't you, Laurel? Throwing me under the bus, Laura London. Thank you for that, Laura. So yeah, so the days get shorter after tomorrow. Wow, I thought that they were. Well, I guess they are still getting longer. Today is the last day of long days. Tonight on this very program, CrewZ joins us for the first time. Been waiting for this show for a while, man. It's going to be great. He's an amazing artist, and it's consciousness from the streets. That's the subject of tonight, and that's what he sings about. It's crazy. Go listen to a CrewZ song, and it's incredible. It's incredible. Written for us. So go and check all of his stuff out. I've got links up for everybody to go and see and listen to CrewZ. He's absolutely amazing. Tomorrow night, Karen A. Dahlman is here. Tomorrow night is the history of Ouija 101. It's a master class going down tomorrow night. And then Wednesday night, astrologer David Palmer is with us. I watched him electrify the crowd at Disclosure Fest, and it was just incredible. And I was right there. And Wednesday night, I hope he brings some of that action here to Fade to Black. And then Thursday is Fader Night with open lines all night long. All right. Now it's time for me to hit this River Moon coffee. I'm looking at Brad's pictures here, rivermoonwellness.com. In this picture, I'm gonna retweet this right now. Here's a picture of Adrian Youngblood and I on stage, and I want you to notice the coffee cup. These are my bamboo coffee cups, and that's what I'm holding there. That came all the way from my house. And then I reused it all day long because I care about our environment. So recyclable, reused, repurposed bamboo coffee cups. And there I am. I would not know. I wasn't going to throw it away. I said, fill this up with coffee, assistant. All right. Now, I just want a splash of hazelnut, a touch of foam. No, I didn't do that. Not really. rivermoonwellness.com. See, because the foam makes me all bloaty. That's from Zoolander. I can't lay claim to that. It's that's Zoolander. rivermoonwellness.com. And there you go. Look at Adrian. So check this out. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Disclosure Fest for a minute here. And Disclosure Fest is officially in the books. And what an amazing day it was. It was a perfect day. Everything was smooth from start to finish. Okay? And I posted all of the pics off of my phone. Brad, who's got the good pics, is posting them now over on Twitter. And I'll have to download those myself because he hasn't sent them to me. Thank you, Brad. But there are no more from me. The rest of them are going to come from Brad. But here's the thing. So I roll up to Disclosure Fest, and I walk through, and everything's fine, and saying hello to everybody. And I get over to the Fade to Black Disclosure Fest tent. Big seating. It's nice. It's really nice. And I'm pretty excited. Well, the movie, the film, The Observers, was produced by Adrian Youngblood. And she is one of the great producers out there, events and film and TV. She's just amazing. She's an amazing person to work with. And I've known her for a long time. And then I turn around and Adrian's walking up to me. And I was like, what's going on? Wow, it's great to see. She goes, I'm working with you all day today. I was like, it's going to be a great event. I've got Adrian Youngblood. Oh, propping me up, making sure. And so she was the reason why, I mean, for me, that everything was so smooth over at the disclosure presentation area. And but here's the deal. I had to bring her up on stage. I had to sit her down, and she wasn't expecting it. And I wanted to talk about the observers with her, and which I haven't done since the film came out. So that is a very special picture right there with Adrienne Youngblood. Thank you for that, Brad. And let's see, what else does Brad have here? Oh, here is Michelle Anderson. Okay, I could do this all night long. Thank you, Brad. Let me retweet this. Michelle Anderson, one of the pillars of this community that makes things happen. She just does. And she's got her own show and everything. She's amazing. And she was with me all day too as well, working for Disclosure Fest. She helped organize the entire event. And then she helped Adrienne and I all day long. She is absolutely amazing. Okay. Here's the deal. We had a couple of strange things that happened that day. And the first thing I want to say is Billy Carson. I cannot say enough about him. And it's not going to be why you think. Billy gets to the airport in Miami to fly out this morning on Sunday morning and get there early. He wasn't speaking until 6 p.m., so he was going to fly in the morning. His flight got canceled by the airlines. So he's stuck in Miami. Billy, on his own dime, books another flight and arrives. Now I'm like, where's Billy? Where's he at? He hasn't texted me. What's going on? And finally, it was like 4:30 and 5 o'clock. And I texted Billy. I'm like, dude, are you okay? And he goes, my flight got canceled. I just landed at LAX. Like, what? And he's on at 6. It's now 5, and he's still at LAX. He Ubers out from LAX, rolls in, and walks out on stage. And standing room only, it was packed for Billy, packed. And it was just amazing what he did. After the day that he had, he comes in and gives a presentation like I've never heard him give before. And I've seen them all. Standing ovation. And I got up on stage and I had to tell everybody what had happened. And he was able to give this presentation to everybody. It was electrifying. And he did that after canceled flights. So that's the kind of person Billy Carson is. He's not going to let this community down. And he rolled in and did it. And then we had David Palmer. Same situation. David Palmer was late getting to the stage. And he rolls in. And Michelle Anderson, the best, she runs out, double parks his car, gets David in. David comes up and I tell the audience, I go, okay, here he comes now. You guys are with me, right? It's time to mess with David. So David's walking out. He can hear me. Obviously, I have a loud voice. I'm on a big PA system. And I go, all right, everybody, David Palmer had to cancel. He got arrested in the parking lot. And that's the only update that I have. He's walking up and he's listening to that. And David literally walked up on stage, took the microphone from me, and lit it up for the next 60 minutes. And on his game. It was incredible. And if you were there, you know exactly what I'm talking about because that's how it went down. At the end of the day, I sat down with Robert Grant and interviewed him live on stage. And it was, again, incredible. We're going to have Robert Grant on the show next week. Been wanting him on the show forever. Next week, we'll have Robert on. And if you were at Disclosure Fest, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was an amazing afternoon. Laura Eisenhower, Brad Olson, And opening up the day was Alan Steinfeld, and he brought on these two young star seeds, both 7 years old, Olivia and Tyler. Unbelievable. It was just an incredible day. All right, so with that, I am going to get out of here because I've got CrewZ on the show tonight. I can't believe it. I've got CrewZ on Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. We've got a great week coming up tonight. CrewZ is here tomorrow night. Karen A. Dahlman. That's right. History of Ouija 101 tomorrow night, masterclass. And then Wednesday night, I've got David Palmer here. This is Fade to Black. Thursday is another Fader night with open lines all night long. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer and on X Networks, Race Hobbs. This is Fade to Black. Stay with me. I'll be right back after this short break.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Hello, Fadernauts. Jimmy Church here. You've seen me with my Thunderstorm. Now you can purify the air in your home and get healthy, clean, fresh-smelling air and eliminate odors just like I do right here in the bunker. The EdenPURE Thunderstorm uses oxy technology that naturally sends out O3 molecules into the air, which seek out odors and air pollutants in your home and destroys them. It's called a thunderstorm because it purifies the air just like after a thunderstorm. And right now, you can save $200 on an EdenPURE Thunderstorm 3-pack for whole home protection. With this special offer, you're getting 3 units for under $200. Seriously. Go to EdenPureDeals.com and use Fader3. Shipping is free and it's easy. Just scroll down. You'll see my name right there, Jimmy Church. Click on it and get your deal today. That's EdenPureDeals.com.
Do you have an interest in the paranormal? Then you'll love the UnXNetwork.com. The X is your streaming audio and video for everything supernatural, strange, and mysterious, like UFOs, Bigfoot, ghosts, and so much more. From hosts like Jimmy Church, Whitley Strieber, Micah Hanks, and Christina Gomez. Visit the UnXNetwork.com show page for a complete list of all the paranormal programs you'll find on the X. Be sure to follow us on Twitter for updates at KUNXDB. Follow our Facebook group, UnX Network. Find the podcast on Spotify, iHeart, Audible, and Apple Podcast. It's time. It's new. It's the X.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Manson. You're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
This is my Thunderbird right here. This is incredible. I keep it right here in the studio. It's always running. You don't hear it. This studio is soundproof. It's dead quiet in here. You don't hear this running. You won't hear it in your house, in your car, and you get that fresh rain. That fresh rain. That's all. It's incredible. Links for it down below. Got a 3-pack special going. All right. Let's get this party started. Tonight, CrewZ is with us. We're going to be talking about music. We're going to talk some art. We're going to talk consciousness from the street. He's a cosmic artist. Raised between New York and South Florida, his music explores themes of meditation, unity consciousness, the pineal gland, sacred geometry, quantum physics and mechanics, esoteric wisdom, human empowerment, and ancient civilizations. This is not a joke. CrewZ has collaborated with numerous talented artists within the conscious community, and at the age of 18, he was introduced to the practice of meditation, which he claims raised the frequency of his intelligence, and it exposed him to a whole new realm of experiences within the spirit world. For over a decade, CrewZ has devoted his lyrical gifts to serving and empowering humanity, and I am so proud to finally have this man on my show. CrewZ, welcome.
Yo. What's going on, Jimmy? Pleasure to be here, brother.
Man. Okay. All right. Well, okay. First things first, CrewZ. You get the first time guest disclaimer. You've been watching this show forever, and you know now you get it. It's coming. CrewZ, it's just you and I sitting on my couch having a conversation as friends, and where that conversation starts, it starts. Where it ends, but we're going to end as friends. There you go.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we were already friends. Can I start here? Can I throw Donnie Arcade under the bus? Because you know he's listening. You know he's listening, right?
Yeah, go ahead. He's my boy.
Okay. So I'm in Detroit a couple of weeks ago, and I was wondering, and I didn't want to jinx anything. But I was thinking to myself, is Donnie Arcade going to be here? Right? Okay. And I didn't want to bring it up. I didn't want to ask Billy and have Billy go, no, Donnie's busy, and I didn't want to hear that. So I just kept it to myself. And then this big black SUV pulls up, and the door swings open and out jumps Donnie Arcade with CrewZ. Right. And so Donnie comes up. I'm like, Donnie, is that CrewZ? And I went right past Donnie, went straight to you. It was I freaked out, and I'm such a fan boy. But
Jimmy, I appreciate that.
Well, in my reaction, I'm thinking to myself, CrewZ must think I'm out of my mind. But I was so excited to finally have met you, and we had a great day that day. It was just perfect.
It was amazing. I mean, Jimmy, listen, something I want to share with your viewers. I have been watching you, Jimmy, since I was a 19-year-old kid. This is back in 2008, okay? I am now 33 years old. And to actually be a guest on your show after, bro, you're so legendary. So for me, this is an honor. I'm very grateful to be on the show right now in front of your viewers because it's amazing. So the fact that you knew who I was honestly surprised by that because I didn't think you knew who I was. So when you approached me in Michigan when we was over there in Detroit, I was like, what? It was just like, pretty bugged out for me. Cause like I said, man, I've been listening to you for years. I've gone to sleep to your shows, listening to, very iconic people that you talk to in this community. So yeah, man, I'm very blessed and grateful to be here. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
This is for me, how my introduction to you came through Donnie and Billy, of course, right? Okay, so and I'm checking Donnie's stuff out, And then Donnie had mentioned to me briefly, he said, man, you got to check out, some of my other friends, and he mentions you. And so I clicked, and I remember okay, you have a very fluid, precise, fast-paced way of being a lyricist. Okay, it's impressive. And so anyway, I'm watching and I'm picking up on a few things, and I'm like, wait a minute, did he just mention Anunnaki? Did that just blow by me? Is he talking about quantum physics? Is he talking about the multiverse? Right? Anyway, and it's coming, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute here, because the music is great. You can't have that, be listenable without the right beats and the right melody and everything else. So that's all right. So that's all on point. So that grabs you. But then I start thinking to myself, do the kids understand what they are listening to? Right? They're listening because it's great music, right? And whatever. But there's a message here, and it's a strong message. And it's about history, and it's about science, and it's about consciousness, and the pineal gland. I remember the first time I heard that, I was like, what? So are the kids getting it? Do they start their own research? Do they respond back to you and go, thank you for this, because now I'm checking out the Great Pyramid?
It's funny because that's actually the intention behind why I write lyrics the way that I do, because obviously I'm all about empowering humanity, and I want human beings to wake up and reach their truest potential. And so I write songs in a first person perspective, or point of view, I guess you could say, so that when you memorize my lyrics and you're repeating it and you're rapping it out loud, you're actually empowering the self. Listen to hip hop. Hip hop is all about diminishing your opponent, duality, competition. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I started when it came to hip hop, being born and raised in New York. So obviously you get influenced by that culture of hip hop. But then, as you mentioned earlier, when I turned 18 and I got exposed to meditation, it really expanded my consciousness, my ability of comprehension, my vocabulary. I could no longer rap about ignorance because I just knew too much at this point. I got exposed to a lot of information very young. And so that obviously influenced my lyrical abilities. And from that point forward, I said, you know what? I can't rap about ignorance anymore. I need to rap to empower humanity, because I'm a huge humanitarian. I'm all about unity. You know what I mean? And I truly have compassion, and I understand the law of one. I understand the law of separation, the illusion of separation that we're all living in. So, all of this information obviously just gave me a lot of subject matter to write about when it comes to music. And when it comes to answering your question about the kids, the only kids and the only people who are really getting it are those individuals who are actually putting in the work, doing the shadow work, researching, self-education and stuff like that. If you're doing this type of work, then you will understand 100% my lyrics. If you have never even practiced meditation or got into energy work, breath work, understand the correlation, energy, vibration, frequency, the pineal gland, if you've never, dove into this kind of information, then of course my lyrics are not going to make sense to you, because as you know, Jimmy, words are vibrations. And so I tend to make my type of hip hop music higher frequency vocabulary. And so for you to understand that, you need to be resonating yourself on a higher consciousness to understand and receive that information. So the whole goal of the music that me, Donnie, and a whole bunch of other very dope artists that I'm very cool with in the community, make, the whole purpose of it is so that these kids and these adults who are just waking up into this community start to research. As you know, I did that song with Donnie Arcade, The Halls of Amenti. And that's honestly, it really took off when me and Donnie made that with Billy, made the music video. And, a lot of people asking, what the hell is the Halls of Amenti? Like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? And it's, unless you read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, you're just not going to know what the Halls of Amenti is. You know what I mean? So I make songs that people can relate to, that may not be too conscious. Like my song called Have You Ever on my Cosmic Heist album. It's a song that I made that anyone can relate to. But I also like to make songs that's going to make you think outside the box, kind of going to force you to research the terminology, the concept. What the hell am I talking about? Let me see what this is. What is an Anunnaki? What is that? You know what I mean? Now, that term Anunnaki now is getting very famous, very known. A lot of super I mean, a lot of mainstream artists you hear now talking about whether it's in hip hop, reggaeton, or whatever the case may be. A lot of artists are talking about the term Anunnaki, and so it's only a matter of time before we become the new mainstream. You know what I mean?
Now, when that song charted, Halls of Amenti, and now that's on Billboard, right? It was on like 4 charts at the same time.
Yeah, it went pretty big. I mean, on YouTube, it's got more than 250,000 views on YouTube now. It's crazy.
Yeah. So when that is breaking this stuff mainstream. Yeah. How did that? I know I've asked Donnie this, but how does that make you feel that this type of music, that is for humanity, it's for consciousness, it's for the world, it's for growth?
Right.
How does that make you feel to get a little bit of recognition like that?
It feels great. I mean, I've been into this. I went through my awakening, dark night of the soul, if you will, when I was 18 years old in 2007, back when there was no conscious community. There was no on YouTube, Instagram. There was none of that. You know what I mean? So back then, being so young, I had just graduated high school. I got exposed to all of these things. I started thinking I was going crazy like everybody else. You know what I mean? Everyone starts thinking they're going crazy. You start having extraterrestrial experiences, astral projection experiences, be psychically attacked. All of these things, when you open your energies to this realm of multidimensionality, and you don't know anything about protecting your energy, if you don't understand the correlation between energy, vibration, frequency, all of these things that can help empower you when dealing with the spiritual realm. Obviously I was just thrown into the fire at 18 years old. I knew nothing about this. And so I had no mentor. Billy wasn't in my life at that time. I knew nobody who can, guide me through this. I'm just going by all of these crazy different documents and stuff I'm, reading and watching on the internet, like Fade to Black, Coast to Coast AM, Conscious Media Network, Project Camelot, Bashar and Daryl Anka. I mean, I'm telling you guys, I've been watching this information, soaking it all in since I was 18 years old. And all of that information that you learn through all these whistleblowers and all of these things, I managed to grab all that information and turn it into hip hop, make it poetic, make it rhyme, make it sound dope enough where the younger generation could be like, hey, this sounds pretty dope. This is a nice beat. What is this? And they start listening to it. So that's pretty much my lyrical talent, I guess you could say. I have the ability of gathering the information that I have integrated and putting it into a lyrical format. I can make it rhyme and make it make sense so that it also empowers the human being listening and repeating my lyrics, memorizing my lyrics. So there's a huge science behind what I do, believe it or not. I've been doing it for so long. It's so natural for me at this point. But yeah, man, this is science like everything else.
Take me back to 2008.
Okay.
What happened?
And well, the spiritual awakening really happened to me in 2007. 2008 was when I really started listening to you and I came across who you were. But everything really started in terms of like, if you want me to really go back, Jimmy, in terms of like the extraterrestrial UFOs, like being interested in all of that stuff, that field, it really started when I was 7 years old. I watched my very first UFO abduction documentary. And, obviously it's all full of fear and Hollywood and Grays and all of this stuff. So obviously as a child, you see those kind of abduction documentaries, it put a lot of fear in me. So even though it put fear in me, at that point, for the rest of my incarnation here, I knew my mind was open enough to realize we are not alone. This aliens are obviously real, extraterrestrials obviously exist. Like my mind started thinking like that. And I remember staring at the moon. Every little child when they're a kid in their car, you feel like, why is the moon following me? Why does it feel like the moon goes everywhere I go? You know what I mean?
Right.
And so when I was a 7-year-old kid listening and, looking at the moon, I would just think about those abduction documentaries that I saw and it would just freak me out. But it really started for me there. I started opening my mind from that point forward. And then it wasn't until I was about 16 when I made the move from New York to Florida. And I went through a great deal of depression because I was forced to move to Florida. I never wanted to in the middle of my junior year of high school. I had a lot of time on my hands now. So what I did was I just got to work. I cooked up a bunch of songs. I made a lot of songs between the ages of 16 and 18, all self-recorded, all self-taught, all self-mixed, and all of that stuff. Like I edited all myself. I learned how to use this program on my own. I was just sitting there making songs. And so, I started reading so much, I guess you could say, there's a website called Above Top Secret. It was very, 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 very famous back then. Very, very,
yes,
I'm sure you know.
Yes.
Man, that website right there, Above Top Secret, being a teenager, early 20s, I was just on all of those forums, reading all of this stuff. And so, you know, I never got into the spiritual though, the meditation. It was just strictly extraterrestrials, connections, the pyramids, you know what I mean? Like, we are not alone. What's the truth about about life? What's going on? If extraterrestrials are real, then how does God play in this? And how do we play in this? What's the purpose? Where we come from? All of those cliche questions you start to ask yourself when you start awakening. But it wasn't until I was 18, when I graduated high school, that I got exposed to meditation, because of what occurred to me. When I was 18, I got hospitalized for 4 days because of an entanglement that occurred in my small intestines. And during that time, I used to smoke a lot of weed. I was smoking a lot of weed, eating a lot of crap, junk foods, just going to sleep 3-4 in the morning without properly digesting. And I guess, that lifestyle, unhealthy lifestyle, although I was working out a lot at that time, but food wise and sleep wise, it was just horrible. And so that experience led to an entanglement in my small intestine, digestive issues. I was hospitalized. They didn't let me eat anything for about 4 days. I was just strictly on IVs, getting a whole bunch of tests done and whatever. And long story short, I went in weighing 150 on a Friday. I came out on Monday weighing 128 pounds, Jimmy. So I lost 22 pounds in those 4 days. Obviously, a senior who just graduates high school, summertime just started, and that's what occurs to me. So I go through a great deal of depression, obviously, because, now I'm looking like a skeleton. I feel weak, could barely eat. And so I got desperate. I was like, man, how can I heal myself, And obviously, when you come out of the hospital, you get all of these pharmaceutical drugs that my mother would argue with me about taking them and all of these things. But I never trusted the pharmaceutical industry ever since I was a teenager. I always knew that there was more to it, profit wise and side effect, all of these things. And so I'm like, nah, there's got to be a natural, holistic way of healing. I know this is real. I believed in it. My mind was open enough to it. So that's what started my journey on the meditation, because, I started researching online. I remember one night I thought to myself, why do Hindus and Buddhists meditate? Because I was raised Catholic. My family is from Colombia, Colombian culture. And so in Colombia, most people are Catholic, raised Catholic anyway. So born and raised into a family that was very religious. My grandmother was religious. Me and my cousins, pray all the time. We really believed in the whole concept of religion. You know what I mean? So obviously going from that background, and then I came across a long article online about meditation, because I started questioning, why do Hindus and Buddhists meditate? What is the point of meditation? What is this thing, So I read an article on it, and the article claimed, Jimmy, that that a human being is capable of healing themselves from virtually any sickness or disease just through the process of meditation. Now, obviously, I was skeptical, because I'm thinking, how can you heal just by meditating from any sickness or disease? But because of how desperate I was, how much weight I lost, how depressed I felt, I wasn't happy with my body, my self-image, I was willing to try anything that claimed self-miraculous healing. So, boom, I go on YouTube. In 2007, YouTube is still pretty fresh, pretty new. No censoring, no algorithm. Man, I used to watch so much videos, you know what I mean? But now you can't, but obviously, but back then I was researching, and I came across 1 hour long animated video, I believe narrated by Deepak Chopra, if you know who he is.
I remember that video. Yeah, keep going. I watched it.
That video changed my life, Jimmy, because that video, as you know, it shows an animated, visually appealing and understanding animation where you could see cosmic energy, how the cosmic energy enters into the nadi system, the etheric body, how it can heal the body just by bringing more and more cosmic energy. It's all about mastering the breath and the mind and, energy work. So when I watched that video, it was an hour long, but it was so intriguing. I watched the whole thing straight through. From that point forward and up to this day, right now, I'm talking to all of you, I became obsessed with meditation, because I'm like, whoa, if this is real, and this video was so beautiful, I'm like, I'm going to start this right now. I started meditating right away. And, I grew up very impatient, quick-tempered person. I had a lot of anger issues when I was younger. So for me to just sit there and breathe, it was difficult. Like, I didn't have the patience. I didn't even know how to do diaphragmatic breathing. I didn't understand nothing. I had no basis. I literally taught myself through trial and error, meditating every day for 30 minutes a day. I taught myself how to master diaphragmatic breathing. And once I learned how to breathe through my diaphragm consciously, I started observing that sound it would make. And, it started getting deeper and deeper into the inner space, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. And man, from that point forward, it accelerated the hell out of my intelligence, my consciousness. I got exposed to many things. Like I said, I was even psychically attacked. I went through a lot of fear. I had a lot of extraterrestrial experiences. I started having real life astral projection conscious experiences, whether through sleep paralysis or through actual meditation, fully conscious and aware. I mean, things started happening to me where I'm like, yo, am I going crazy? Am I really going crazy? Because everyone else that's my age, 18 years old, you know, no one is talking about this. And I'm over here experiencing astral projection at 19 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a big deal to me. The first time I experienced that, it changed my life forever. I just couldn't, you know, I started making the mistakes that everybody makes when they wake up. They start telling their family, living a lie, everything is a lie, blah, 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 blah. You know, you try to force people to believe you so you don't seem like you're crazy, but you're making yourself look more crazy because they're just not at that frequency of understanding. So I went through that, man. I went through that. Like, all of you watch, a lot of you guys went through it. Two of your families, you guys are the black sheep. You know what I mean? Like, we all go through it in our own unique ways. But pretty much my story. That's how I got into this. You know, I mastered diaphragmatic breathing. The meditation really assisted me in healing my intestines. You know, that experience eventually also turned me into plant-based eating. Every time I eat meat, it really affects me. It gets me bloated in the stomach. And then when I transitioned to plant-based, which I've been fully plant-based now for the last 5 years, yeah, man, that whole issue with the intestine stomach that I used to have is not there anymore. So I don't know, man. Meditation saved my life. It changed my life. It really elevated my life, and it brought me so much beauty and this awareness here, this conscious community, Billy into my life, and a whole bunch of other very powerful beings because of it. And now I'm a meditation instructor. As you know, I created my own meditation course. I released it online like 3 years ago. It's helped hundreds of people. I've gotten nothing but 1,000% positive feedback. And in it, I share what I call my fogging a mirror method, which to me is the most effective way that I can teach a human being how to properly breathe through their diaphragm.
The magic, people ask me all the time how I've developed my tone and my sound, you know, right. In this thing. And I always joke, you know, I gargle, you know, shattered glass in the morning with whiskey. But that's not it. I speak through my diaphragm, and I like you know, I do the breathing techniques and how to breathe everything up through your abdomen and then out. But I can't tell people, they don't understand it, and it's a long process to go through to be able to do that and to understand it. Then you hear it, and then you get it. And you can hear other people do it. And most the best singers only sing that way. Right. The best orators, right? When you hear somebody, these great poets and them, you know, that's not their actual speaking voice. That's not what they were born with. That's something that's taught through breathing, right. and how to breathe through and speak through your diaphragm directly. So that's impressive. Yeah. To me,
it's everything. The breath is everything. You know what I'm saying? If you master the breath, you master the human experience. Absolutely. And so once I realized how powerful my breath was, it became top priority for me to master it. And, you know, now 15 years later that I've been practicing meditation, I mean, at this point, I consider myself a master at diaphragmatic breathing. And I've gotten to the point that, like I said, I can honestly teach any human being how to do it effectively. It's what I call the fogging a mirror method. Now, if you want, I could share it with you guys, and whoever's watching, you could try it from home and see if I can teach you all right now how to breathe through your diaphragm. So
okay, we'll do that after the break. I got to take a commercial break right here. I wasn't expecting this tonight. I thought we were just going to be, I was going to try to be cool. I was going to try to be fresh. And let's take our break right here. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, the one and only CrewZ. Finally, he's on here with us. We'll be right back after this short break. I am your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer and UNX networks. Tonight, CrewZ, Consciousness from the Streets. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with me.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX-DB, VX.
2022 MUFON Symposium is in Denver, Colorado, July 7th through 10th, and it's on. If you can't make it to Denver, get the live stream. You can watch it live and anytime later. This year's theme is UFOs in the Spotlight. Our speaker lineup is incredible. Join Cheryl Jones, Peter Robbins, Michael Stratt, Kathleen Martin, Tom Reed, Paul Hynek, Peter Davenport, Dave Scott, Craig Campobasso, Donald Schmidt, Mark D'Antonio, and me, Ron James, for an exciting inside look at my new film. Newsflash, Congressman Tim Burchett has just confirmed that he will be making an exclusive live presentation at MUFON 2022. Tim is the most outspoken member of Congress on the UAP topic. You do not want to miss what he has to say. Sign up for our live stream. Get all 3 days of the MUFON Symposium, a 1-year subscription to MUFON TV, and an awesome free gift. What's the free gift? Find out at MUFONSymposium.com/Jimmy. That's MUFONSymposium.com/Jimmy. You do not want to miss a thing.
Hello, Fadernauts. Jimmy Church here, and I know what you're thinking. Lately, Jimmy sounds so fresh. He's so alert. He's so now. Well, that's because of biotech research and their new supplement, BrainPEAK 9. BrainPEAK 9 contains 9 nutrients that may help support brain function of memory, concentration, recall, and improve focus. Other memory supplements can cost as much as $129 for a 60-day supply. But right now, for a limited time, if you use the discount code FADER, that's right, FADER, just for the Fadernauts, you'll get a 60-day supply for just $49. There's no better time than right now to see what others have been raving about. Help improve your brain function. Go to BrainPEAK9.com and enter the discount code FADER. That's right, for the Fadernauts. That's BrainPEAK9.com. Discount code FADER. And the links are over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Click on it now. Seriously.
This is Billy Carson, founder and CEO of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv is the fastest growing and one of the most watched networks in the world. And I would like to personally invite you to check out our expanding library of TV, film, lectures, and special presentations. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv has over 6,000 videos covering lost history, health, UFOs, spirituality, and our future. We are committed to our community, and with my personal invitation, you can right now get your own free 30-day membership at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Your own library of information starts today at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv.
Because you never got that pony you always wanted. Damn it. Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network.
Listen, I know, and you know, that you've always wanted your first crystal skull. Or maybe you're a collector just like me, but you just don't know where to go to find the real thing. Then I met Carolyn Ford over at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Carolyn is the guardian of Einstein, one of the most respected ancient crystal skulls in the world. All of her unique skulls have been imprinted sitting with Einstein in his sacred lodge and are carved from the finest gemstone and materials. Imprinting is the process of receiving the ancient wisdom from the master skull or master computer, Einstein, the ancient crystal skull. To see Carolyn's current collection of crystal skulls, just visit her store at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com or click on the banner over on our site. Don't forget to use the promo code Jimmy at checkout to receive 10% off of your order today. That's promo code Jimmy. Finding your first or next crystal skull is easy. Just visit EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier, and this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier, and I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers, and you're listening to Jimmy Church, The Revolution.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black.
All right, so this weekend, Saturday, Disclosure Fest. So I'm there, and somebody comes up and says, "Jimmy, BrainPEAK 9. I heard you talking about it on the show. I said, I do. BrainPEAK 9. There it is. It's absolutely amazing. Just unfogging my brain and getting my memories back and being able to focus. It's absolutely incredible. And right now, just click on the links below and you've got to check out BrainPEAK. It's absolutely incredible. Okay. Our guest tonight is CrewZ, and now we were talking about breathing techniques before the break, and this is interesting. And so, is it complicated? How simple is this to teach?
It's honestly very simple. The reason why it's called the fogging a mirror method is because when you fog a mirror or a window, right? Remember when you're a kid, you used to fog something and you would draw your initials or hearts or whatever. When you fog a mirror, it sounds like this. When you make that sound to fog the mirror, you're actually exhaling out of your diaphragm. That's why it's loud, thick, and it's a louder, I guess you could say thicker sound. So if you were to inhale back in the same way you exhale to fog the mirror with your mouth open, it's going to sound like this. Notice how that sound is a lot louder. It's different when you're breathing through the diaphragm. So the diaphragm does that sound. So the way that I teach people the fogging a mirror method is I tell you, grab your hands, put your palm about 3 to 6 inches in front of your mouth, fog the mirror. Pretend that your palm is the mirror. So you go, then you breathe back in the same way you exhale to fog the mirror. Once you do that a few times with your mouth open, eventually now you have to do it with your lips sealed, which is going to sound like this. Out, in. Your first thing you're going to notice when you breathe this way is that you have a much larger intake of oxygen. Also, when you inhale through the diaphragm, because it's surrounding your lungs, it's located in the bottom of your abdomen. And so when you inhale properly through the diaphragm, your stomach is going to inflate rather than your chest. Majority of humanity on this planet is breathing improperly. We're all breathing on what we call survival mode breathing. And that's when you take very quick shortnesses of breaths without even realizing it. But if you're next to an adult, especially, and let's just say you're quietly, silently listening to this adult, let's say they're working on something, or you have a technician in your house or something, listen to that human being breathing. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to notice they're breathing very short, very quick, especially older people who are sick. Most people are breathing on survival mode breathing. We're not bringing enough oxygen into our brains, into our bloods. And so diaphragmatic breathing helps you do that. And with the fogging a mirror method, I've tried it so many times on so many people in person, and even through, meditation course and the presentation I did with Billy on Manifest Destiny back in January. And it's always effective. Everyone that I teach it to is always capable of doing it. Even if you feel in the beginning that you can only inhale a little bit through the diaphragm, you will notice the difference, because it is going to happen in your stomach. And so there you go. Now do that with your mouth closed. And then that's how you meditate. When you close your eyes, people ask me all the time, CrewZ, how do I enter the meditative state of being? How do I stop thinking thoughts? And the key to your stop thinking thoughts is to focus on your breath. Because when you're meditating, it's all about connecting to that intelligent force behind your breath. What is it that's making you breathe? What is animating your breath? That intelligence is your soul. It is the consciousness that connects you to what most of us call God, the divine source, whatever you want to call it, all that is. It's the breath that connects us to this aspect of our beings, spirit. So if you can connect to the intelligent force behind your breathing, you will connect directly to your soul. And at that point, your soul will expose itself to you. You'll start to understand past lives, future lives, you know, other experiences, other realms, astral projection, lucid dreaming, you know, all of these things start to happen to you with time. And so that's pretty much it.
Now, and that was fantastic. Thank you for that. I love learning. You hear me breathing now? What comes first, the beat or the lyrics?
Both. It really just depends. I've written a lot of my songs will just come to me while I'm driving for some weird reason. I could be driving and I just hit lyrics start coming to my head, and I'll literally just write them on my notes on my phone, or I'll record myself. I'll rap the flow on the sound recorder on my phone so I don't forget it. But many times it'll be the beat. If the beat is fire enough and it hypes me up, I'll write the song right there in that spot. As soon as I hear the beat, I get the melody and whatever. But there's been times where I've written entire songs, and then once I find the right beat, I'll spit the whole song on the beat, and it just matches perfectly. So it really is both, man. Both. It comes to me out of nowhere, and it comes to me while I'm hearing a beat that I really love.
You know what I used to do? I'm just gonna let it out right now. Freaking turn signals will make me write a song, right? And especially if I'm sitting at a light for too long, right? And the turn signal, and next thing you know, I've got this thing going. I remember it. And I thought to myself later, if I'm riding around with somebody in my band with me in the car, are they going to call me out on the turn signal beats, right? Are they going to go, dude, that's that song you know? So, but yeah, cars have a way of doing that. The rhythm of the road when you're driving, you know, the tires, and it's repetitive, and you know, and the next thing you know, right, you're tapping your toes, and I think a lot of artists ride in the car just because of the repetitive, the rhythms that are happening.
Right. Yeah, man, you get a lot of influences and inspiration when you're driving. You just see a lot of stuff, but sometimes you just be in your own mind as you're driving, and so the lyrics will just start flowing, ideas start coming in, and you're like, man, maybe I should say it in this way. And it just happens, you know?
Now, I wanted to ask you, okay, so with different dreaming techniques and the way that you have your life built around you, do you keep a pad of paper on the nightstand? Are you constantly trying to remember things and get it down on paper?
Honestly, I don't, man. The whole writing my dreams down, I started doing that when I was like 21, 22, when I really got into all the spiritual stuff. I would actually try in my notes on my phone to write down my dreams, but I just got lazy from doing that for some reason. Like, I would just go through the experiences and it just retains in my consciousness. It's like I didn't have to write it down. Sometimes I can remember certain dreams and related to another dream I had and be like, and make certain connections. But I'm someone who, since I was a child, I had a very clear cognizant ability in terms of I'm an individual that dreams things before they occur. And in terms of my own personal life, when a big event is about to occur that's going to affect my life, I always dream it before it happens. And sometimes it's like to the T. And if anything, all meditation has done was enhance that ability in terms of the dream state. But yeah, I love when it comes to lucid dreaming and the dream state, because it's a powerful state to be in. It's where the ego doesn't exist.
Take me through it, because I do this. All right. The show's not about me. It's about you. Do you plan it? Do you like, okay, tonight I'm going here. Tonight I want to do this, or maybe it's during the day, but you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Do you go, what?
I wish I could say yes, but nah, I really don't, Jimmy. Sometimes it's just random occurrences that'll occur to me, certain dreams. I know when I wake up, when I can see this, the intensity of the lucidity of the dream, that's when I know, like, okay, this is about to happen in my life soon, because it was just too lucid, it was too intense, it was too vivid. I have certain nights sometimes that I feel as if I'm living an entire lifetime, like I slept a whole movie in like 4 hours, and I'll wake up, I'm like, it's only been 4 hours. I feel like I lived an entire lifetime, like I did so much. But it's funny how when you come back to the body, it starts to fade. You know what I mean? Because you're not conscious when you are in the astral realm every night that you're dreaming.
I had an experience. I talked about it on the show. And my dream, and I remember all of it, was about me writing my autobiography.
Nice.
Right. So I sit down and all of it, right? Okay. So I was born on October 10th, right? And my entire life of 55 years, I typed out and lived through and I remember, but it was only 8 hours of sleep. Like, wait a minute. How that's impossible. But it did happen that way. So that's what you just brought up. Time is subjective, right?
Absolutely.
It's not necessarily linear as we, when you know that you've had 3 weeks of dream time, but it was all in one night. How does that happen? But it happens all the time, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, because we are infinite beings. That's why we dream, because the body needs to sleep. The body gets exhausted after 12 to 15 hours of daily activities, but you are an immortal, eternal being of light. And so because your body is exhausted, your spirit, your soul has to keep on experiencing. And that's why you're having dreams, because you never sleep. You, the consciousness that is operating the human body, never sleeps, even if the body gets exhausted. And one thing I tell a lot of people is when you start meditating, you become an experienced meditator as part of your lifestyle, you tend to sleep less because of all the cosmic energy that you're receiving while in the meditative state of being. You don't need as much sleep as the average Joe. You know what I mean? Like me personally, after 15 years now, I only sleep between 4, sometimes 5 hours a night. And that's all I need, literally. And so, but it's taken me a long time to get to this point. You know, a lot of people need 8 hours. I don't believe in 8 hours of sleep personally, because I feel like that's just too much. You know, human beings are meant to be more powerful, to be able to operate for longer. So
when your lyrics, let's talk about that for a second. We're going to spend some time on this.
Let's get it.
Do you improvise first and write it down? Or are you writing it out one line at a time?
Man, it happens both ways. When it comes to writing music, Jimmy, I could be very multidimensional or multifaceted, I guess you could say. It comes to me in so many different ways. It could be word for bar, sentence after sentence that I'll write it. It could be that I'll write the whole thing and then try to rap it to the flow. Like, it really just depends on my hypeness, on my energy, on the mood, how the beat makes me feel. I'm an individual that can write, record, edit, and mix down a song into a format where you can hear it now in your car in less than 3 hours. If I have the beat and I love it, I can write the whole song, record the whole song, edit it, and have you listen to it in your car in less than 3 hours. I've done that many times.
But your lyrics are bleeping complicated.
Yes.
They're complicated. And how, okay. All right. Now, I'm not trying to build you up. If everybody goes and listens to your stuff right now and comes back to the show, they're going to go, Jimmy's right. That's impossible, right? Your stuff is complicated. Yeah. So do you do
it's designed for certain people, for sure? People who are into this type of stuff will understand it.
Do you take notes? Do you have certain sentences? You know, Eminem, right? You know how he does this. Do you do it that way too as well, where a line comes into your head and you're like, man, I got to write that one down?
Once in a blue, but not really. Usually if I start writing a song or something, it's because I'm actually just going to write the whole song or a verse. Like if it comes to me in that moment, I don't stop until the verse is done. That's just how my mind operates, you know, when it comes to music. It's such a natural thing to me at this point, that even though you claim it's very complicated, things that you say, like your cadence, I've had people tell me your cadence and your delivery is like supernatural sometimes, how you can put all of these things so fast. And I'm like, it may seem that way, but if you really know your stuff, the conscious awareness, and you've done your research, this is why my music has been attracting a lot of people lately, because a lot of people are getting into these things now. And now when they hear someone like myself talking about it in hip hop format,
right,
it can blow certain people away. So it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome to have that skill to inspire people to be great. You know what I mean?
Well, when you listen to somebody that is in this complex form of lyricism, like you, to us, and it's kind of like, you know, maybe like Michael Jordan or somebody where to them everything is in slow motion, right? And so maybe to you it's not fast and complicated. It's there and it's natural for you. To us it sounds impossible, but you're in the zone, right? You're in the zone, and maybe the world is slowing down for you, and you don't.
Absolutely. And that's why I like, Jimmy, to make songs that fits everything. I would like to do certain fast rapping songs, but I also got songs where I'm more like singing. I've also got songs where I'm rapping stories and it's slower. So like I'm a diversified artist in a sense where I can rap fast, I could also rap slow and help you, tag along. It just really depends on what song you're hearing, because I made hundreds of songs at this point in my life. So really
okay, you need to repeat that entire answer. The internet screwed up. Okay. So are you in a slow zone? Is the world slowing down for you?
It does, in a sense. It does kind of slow down. But like I said, it really just depends. I make songs very diversified. I like to make songs where I am rapping fast and showing that ability and talent that I have, or that skill set. But then I also like the songs where I'm more singing.
Okay.
Where I rap a little slower, make it more like a storyline. You know what I mean? I could really diversify when it comes to
okay.
I need you to rap fast on this song, and I rap
CrewZ. We got to reset. What I want you to do, listen to me. I want you to back out and rejoin the studio. Just back out, rejoin the studio. We got to reset this connection. Okay. So just I'm going to remove you now. Pull out and come back in. Just leave the studio. We got to reset this. I apologize for that. It happens. It's probably a EMF, a solar flare coming in. But I posted in the comments earlier, and I'm going to do this again right now for everybody. Here are the links where you can go and check out CrewZ's material and music and stuff. So it's right there, and it's in the chat. And all of you have been asking for that tonight. All right, we've got CrewZ back, and let's see. Are we back? Well, we'll find out. Okay, so is the world slowing down for you?
Yes, it does. Technically, I guess you could say it does slow down for me, because I am able to articulate vocabularies, phrases, poetic sayings in a very quick way sometimes, right? So it does, I guess you could say, it kind of does slow down for me, but it's so natural I don't even notice it. Hopefully, if anyone wasn't able to hear me before, what I was saying was that I'm a very diversified artist in the sense that I can make songs that are slow, storyline, punchlines, or just straight rapping, great bars. I can do that as well. Or, songs I have that singing in the chorus and stuff like that, but I do more rapping than singing. Like I said, I make songs that anyone can relate to, whatever level you're at. If you're more of a fast-paced type of person, I have songs for that. If you like slower songs or story songs and that kind of rap, I got songs for that as well. So it really just depends on your mood. I like to make songs that will fit different moods, because every human being is always in a different mood every day that they hear music. So if you always make the same kind of sound, it'll get repetitive and boring. You know what I mean?
Okay, that didn't fix things. So this is what I'm going to do, CrewZ. I am going to take a break right here. CrewZ, I want you to fully reboot your computer. Reboot, shut it down, and come back, and we'll get your Wi-Fi reconnected, because this isn't happening for us right now. But that's okay. We'll take a break. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight is CrewZ, Consciousness from the Streets. I am your host, Jimmy Church. We'll be right back. More with CrewZ after this short break. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and this year, June 18th, 2022, the Disclosure Fest Foundation presents the Mass Meditation Initiative. It's Saturday, June 18th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., one day only at the Los Angeles State Historic Park in downtown Los Angeles, California, right next to Chinatown. I'm hosting the event again this year with music performances by Trevor Hall, The Desert Dwellers, Boran Gee, and many, many more on 4 separate stages. There's 16 stages in total, over 30 acres in downtown Los Angeles, with vendors and tents and presentations and workshops with Billy Carson, Adam Apollo, Lori Spagna, Laura Eisenhower, Brad Olson, David Palmer, and many, many more. It's all simple to do. Just go to disclosurefest.org for all of your tickets, information, and a full schedule of the day's events. Again, disclosurefest.org. Do you want to be an official Fadernaut? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com. Fadernauts, when you think about the future of our country and where we're headed, do you wonder about the food supply? I do. Disruptions in the food supply chain could be disastrous, and they usually occur with little warning. That's why the smartest thing you can do today is to stockpile emergency food, water, and other essentials. I personally recommend My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, serving millions of customers for more than a decade. In fact, they're the only source my family trusts for our preparedness plan. You should too. Right now, save 20% off a full 4-week supply of delicious meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. Saving 20% helps too, doesn't it? Especially now. So go to preparewithjimmy.com and get ready. That's preparewithjimmy.com. There's no time to lose. Do it now.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, CrewZ is with us. My headphones are shorting out. What's next? Tomorrow night, Karen A. Dahlman is with us. And then Wednesday night, David Palmer is here. And then, of course, Thursday night's another Fader night with open lines all night long. And it's weird. I hope it's not shorting out with you. It's just my headphones. Our guest tonight is CrewZ, and CrewZ. Let's talk some UFOs for a second. When we were hanging out, and I can already tell everything is smooth. When we were hanging out in Detroit, we talked UFOs all day long. I mean, that was subject of conversation between us. When did you have a contact experience when you were very young, or did everything happen after 2007, 2008?
Everything happened after 2007.
So
if I did, I don't remember when I was young, of course, if I did have extraterrestrial experiences, but when it started becoming conscious in my life for real, 2007, 2008 for sure.
What was your first contact experience?
It's a little bit of a lengthy story, but it was when I was definitely 18, 19 years old. At this time, you know, I was hanging out with my cousins a lot. I had my own apartment with my cousin. We shared a 2-bedroom apartment. My other cousins would come through, my girlfriend would come through, and all of these things. And at that time, like I said, I thought I was going crazy because I started meditating a lot. I started having these, you know, extraterrestrial experiences and dream states and like weird things happening to me. And I started telling my girlfriend about it, my cousins about it. And for whatever weird reason, Jimmy, I started having this experience where whenever I was outside at night by myself, or even when I was with people, but it would only be me that sees it, I would look at the sky, what felt like at the exact time moment, like the right time and moment, and for whatever reason in that moment that I would look at a particular part of the sky, I would just see this white streak just manifest and just shoot across. And you know, I'm like, oh snap, I saw a shooting star. You know what I'm saying? The initial reaction. But it kept happening to me. Like it kept happening to me. So I'm like, what is going on? So I'm telling my cousins, I'm telling my girlfriend, I'm telling everybody, like, yo, did you see that? I'll be walking outside with them at nighttime in the parking lot and I'll see it like super bright and vivid. I'm like screaming, did you see that? And everybody's like, and of course, when they look at it, there's nothing. So I'm just like, yo, I'm really looking like I'm crazy, you know? So whatever. Long story short, Jimmy, I took my girlfriend home one night and I came back to my apartment. It was like literally 3 a.m. and I'm sitting in the parking lot by myself. And my park where I was parked, I was right in front of the lake. It was a perfectly lit South Florida night. It's like beautiful sky. I think it was a full moon. I could see the moon reflection in the lake. And I remember looking at the sky and talking to them because at this point I was super into extraterrestrials. I was really into it, you know? So I'm talking to them in my mind and I'm telling them, you know, I feel like I've done enough research. I've meditated a lot. I've had enough experience. I feel like I'm ready for a full-on physical experience with an extraterrestrial, like manifest in my face. You know what I mean? Like I thought I was ready for that. And so, you know, I started putting that out there. I started broadcasting that frequency in my car. And mind you, my car's off. I'm looking out my windshield and I'm staring at the sky. In the moment that I said, I feel like I'm ready, I swear on my life, in that moment, probably a good 200 to 300 feet above my car, this white light manifested and it did this huge whoosh towards my windshield. It went towards me and it went back out into the sky. The moment that I said, I feel like I'm ready, you know what I'm saying? But I was not ready because when that happened, instantly, every hair in my body stood up. I felt so much fear. And I was like, no, forget it. I'm not ready. Come to me in my dreams tonight. Whatever I was about to experience right now, forget it. I am not ready. You know what I mean? Like, forget it. I got so scared, Jimmy. But I was like, come to me in my dreams tonight. I just kept repeating that. Come to me in my dreams tonight. Come to forget that. I'm not ready for this. I go to sleep that night. I don't even remember how I fell asleep. But the next thing I realize, I'm standing next to a window. I look outside the window and I see space. I see stars. I see blackness. I feel like I'm just, you know, in a spaceship looking out the window. And I look to my left. When I looked to my left, I saw this 6-foot-tall, brown, yellow, mustard brown kind of extraterrestrial being. It was a male because I felt male energy. He was literally about 6 feet tall. He's not that tall, but it was bald. It had black almond eyes. It wasn't a regular gray with the big heads that you see with the big black eyes, but he did have black almond kind of large eyes. It was yellow, mustard, and brown. No clothes, skinny, tall. It was about 15 feet away from me, staring at me. And obviously, when you're in a dream state, you don't have that fear, that ego. I remember as I was staring at him, thinking to myself, what does his skin feel like? Like his skin looked so unique and like it was just, like I said, a mustard brown. And I'm thinking, what does his skin feel like? And in that moment, my reality shifts to where I'm thinking that thought. And the next moment, Jimmy, he's standing next to me, this tattoo that I have here, and he's rubbing my arm. He's rubbing this specific tattoo with hands. And the first thing I thought was, it feels like an extremely soft sponge. That was the kind of sensation that I felt on my arm. But I looked up and I saw into his big ass black eyes, and that's it. That was the last thing that I can remember. But that was my first real life, what felt real to me, extraterrestrial experience, because of what happened to me the night prior. When I said, come to me in my dreams, forget it. That white light manifested over my car, went towards the universe after that. And then I had that experience that night. So, but it wasn't a human type of extraterrestrial. It was more like, I guess you would consider that more like an insectoid being, right? I don't know. But that was my first experience. And since that point forward, I've had experiences with at least 5 different extraterrestrial type of beings that I can explain to you exactly what they look like. And it's been insane. You know what I mean? Like, they have not stopped following me. I have moved from that apartment in 2007 till now, 2022. I swear to God, Jimmy, I have probably moved about 10 times since that apartment. Different areas of South Florida, different towns, and everywhere that I go, they follow me. Everywhere that I'm at, look at the sky certain times when I'm by myself, manifest. Just the little white lights will just manifest. It doesn't matter where I go. Like, I can go to upstate Florida by Tallahassee, Palm Coast area. I can be in South Florida by West Palm Beach. Anywhere that I go, they show. And anytime I start really getting into extraterrestrials again, really start thinking about it again, that's when I start having dreams with them. But it's been following me ever since I started meditating. The meditations will really open me up to this realm. And so it's never been the same. Like, my life has never been the same because of that.
Now, you said 5. Was the mustard brown one of the 5, or was it 5?
Yes, it was one of the 5. The first one ever that I say that I saw with my own eyes. I can remember the features. Yeah, that mustard brown yellow being was the first one I've ever had. But since then, it's been other beings. I've also experienced an all Asian race. They were wearing black and yellow jumpsuits. It was like black with this yellow shoulder thing that went kind of like I don't know how to explain it, but I can remember that I was in this all white room, and out of nowhere, the white blankness just opened, like if it was a door. And I kid you not, at least 11 of them rushed into the room. And when they all rushed in, they all just surrounded my body, staring up at me, because they were probably about like 5'1", but they all had perfectly black suit bowl haircuts. They were Asian looking, but they weren't Asian like on earth, like Chinese, Japanese, or Filipino. It was like their eyes were larger, but it was definitely slanted like Asian. They had a small mouth, but they were smiling the entire time, staring at my face, smiling at me. And it was weird is that I love the color black and gold. Like, that's my color. You know, you saw me in Detroit, I was wearing black and gold. Like, that's just, I love that color. So I don't know, maybe I had a past life as part of one of their civilizations. I'm connected to them somehow, but that Asian race really stood out to me because of the fact that I had so many of them, and they all looked almost identical. They all looked the same, but it's the black and gold outfits that stood out the most, and the fact that they were like an Asian kind of human. So, you know, I've had experiences with that type of race and many others. And so it's been nuts, man.
Billy Carson is listening, and he just sent you some money, and he texted me and he said, "This is for you to buy a new black and gold shirt." So,
Billy, what up, brother? Appreciate you.
Billy is absolutely amazing. Okay, the Asian.
Yeah,
that's pretty interesting. Okay, let's stop there for a second because I want to get to 3, 4, and 5. But let's back up. Mustard guy. If you don't mind, I'm just going to call him Mustard Guy. 2 arms, 2 legs, humanoid.
Yeah, humanoid. It wasn't a weird Hollywood alien. It was like us.
What
Don't
about
remember the fingers? I can't remember how many. At least 4.
Okay.
I just remember his hands touching my skin because I thought to myself, what does his skin feel like? And I just remember this soft, spongy kind of material rubbing against my tattoo. And I just felt like, wow, like, it feels really soft. I remember thinking to myself that, you know what I mean? And that was the last thing I can remember. They don't allow me, I guess you could say, to remember anything else. But it's been pretty nuts, man.
Okay, so the Asian group, same thing, 2 arms, 2 legs.
Oh, for sure. They look like humans.
Right.
They were 5'1", 5'2". They, like I said, there was a good of them, Jimmy, like a good 11 of them, and they just all surrounded me, staring at me, smiling. I don't know what the heck's going on. That's just the most that I can remember of those experiences. Like, these beings are just surrounding me. I felt a lot of love, though. I wasn't afraid. I just felt like this loving energy. They were just smiling at me for so long. Super weird because, like I said, it felt like I was in this all white room, and out of nowhere, the white blanket just opened, like a door opened, and they just rushed in. Like that's the experience that I can remember with that particular Asian race.
Now, CrewZ, did you have a sighting that night before this happened too as well?
No, but I have had many sightings in my life, like many sightings. Even with my youngest brother, I have 3 brothers. I'm one of 4 brothers. My youngest brother, I'm the second one. He's the one who's the most connected to this stuff, like myself. My older brother's not really into it. My younger brother is not really into it, but my youngest brother is a lot like me in the sense where he also has extraterrestrial experiences. They come to him too. And what's funny is that when he was 7 years old, I was 17. I'm 10 years older than him. I had a dream with a green bell-shaped UFO that I was like building. And the building was like in the sky because I looked below and there was just nothing but sky underneath. And literally like 75 feet in front of me was this green bell-shaped UFO hovering in the sky. And I remember looking and seeing my little brother, my youngest brother, who was only 7 at the time, with me in that experience. And I remember when I woke up from that dream, I was like, he's definitely connected. Cause why, you know what I mean? And when he was 8 years old, the first time he ever meditated at the beach with me, and I already knew, I'm like, yeah, this kid is definitely open-minded to this stuff. And ever since he grew up, now he's 23 years old. But yeah, he has extraterrestrial experiences too. It's really me and him out of my siblings that go through it, that experience it, but it's insane. You know what I mean? Like I used to think I was alone in this, but it's not. Like it's really happening to a lot of people.
Race number 3. Okay, we did 2. We did Mustard Dude. We did the Asian, and let's go to number 3.
Okay, I might not be in the right timeline.
Don't worry.
One group I can remember. I was once on an all-water planet. I was taken to this all-water planet by these. It was like it looked like 3 males, and it sounds stupid as hell, I know, but if you think of like Chewbacca from Star Wars, big, hairy kind of being, it reminded me of that, but it had a human face. Think of like Chewbacca's body, but the shoulders were huge, like very muscular, broad shoulders. The heads were honestly kind of small. It wasn't that big, but the face was human. Like it looked like our faces, but the body was just all hair, brown, tall, like 7 feet tall, 3 of them. And I remember being where they showed me the traveling system of their planet, and the traveling system, which I thought was extremely awesome. It resembled, like, if you think of like a water park with slides everywhere, it resembled like a water slides, something like that, but it's extremely fast. And I remember them showing me how their traveling system works, how they get around on their planet. But it was extremely awesome. Like it was fun, you know what I mean? But that's the 3rd race that I can remember. This weird, hairy, big like race, but their faces were pretty human-like. That's an experience I've had as well. I've shared that story many times on my Instagram lives.
Sounds like you met my Uncle Bob. That dude had the hairiest back I've ever seen in my life, and I always thought he was related to Bigfoot. Let's get back to that technology though. And when you say that, and their technology for for travel,
it's just their body, There's no car, there's no nothing. It's like their body goes into the what you could, I don't know how to explain it, but I guess you could say like a water slide type of thing. Their bodies will go in it, and it's kind of like they're immersed in water. Maybe they can breathe in the water. I don't know, but it just shoots them to wherever they need to go. It was just insanely amazing. I just remember being so taken back by what I was seeing. Like, wow, this is beautiful. This is amazing. But it was 100% water planet. It was like no land.
It sounds almost like a water-filled wormhole, right?
Maybe. It's kind of hard. It's weird because when you have these kind of experiences, Jimmy, like I don't know if you had them yourself, but when you go through these kind of otherworldly type of experiences, you don't have a sense of time where I'm CrewZ. You're just observing and taking it all in. It's like weird. You don't really have much say. You're not talking out loud. I don't really remember ever talking to them. It's always just I'm observing stuff, and I can retain the memories of everything that I saw, like the details. I have a really great picture memory. So I can memorize things that I see. That's why I could tell you about that Asian race. I can remember what their clothes looked like, how tall they were, stuff like that. It's amazing, man. There's a lot is going on in this earth. We really are living a sci-fi movie for real.
Yeah. Okay, I just have one comment. Sure. I haven't, not that I know of, because maybe the words are wrong or the definitions are wrong. But if I follow with other researchers what a lucid dream is, or astral and out of body experiences. Maybe I have done it and I'm just not understanding it. But I'll say this. I've never talked about this on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I have had a repetitive dream of me, not on a planet. I don't want to go there yet. I'll do that on another show. But I've had a repetitive dream of me standing on the bridge of a starship, watching, and traveling. Right, a very, and I'm not saying I'm Captain Kirk. I just may be a crew member, but I'm standing watching, and it's very vivid, man. I mean, like it's cool, and it's very repetitive, and I have it all the time, so is that? I don't know.
Everything is divinely orchestrated, even those experiences that you go through is for a reason. There's something there in that experience that eventually you're going to crack the code to and see, like, okay, there's a reason why I keep coming back to this experience. There's something there for you, Jimmy. Just got to figure out what it is.
Well, okay. I'll share one other thing. And this is, I swear, man, this is as real as it can be. Walking to the cafeteria on these ships. Walking in, talking, hallway, big, not small hallways, tall, almost like a concrete floor. Okay, that's another thing that's there. Railings, right? Weird. It's not like what you see on Star Trek or whatever. No, it's not that vibe. It's more factory-like or institutional. Anyway, zigzag around in, boom, big cafeteria, tall ceilings. Not what you see. I see it differently, and sitting and eating with the crew and BSing and talking. But we're on this ship, and the ship is not. It's not small, and it doesn't look like what I see all the time in movies and TV series and things. It's not like that for me. It's got a different feel. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. Like maybe what a cafeteria would be like on lunch break in a giant factory, maybe. It's got that kind of vibe, a really big ship, but it happens over and over and over and over again. I have the same dream. So is that lucid? I don't know.
And there's something there, man. There's something there.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get to, so we did Chewbacca, we did Asian, we did Mustard Dude. Are we on number 4?
Yeah.
Okay. What was number 4?
It's funny because talk about it right now, audience, there's more than 5, bro. It's weird. But another one I'm gonna express to you guys, this is gonna sound weird and crazy because I know I can come off as crazy. If you're watching this right now, some of your viewers might not understand what the hell I'm talking about. But obviously, if I'm putting myself out there and I'm speaking this way, I'm making myself vulnerable to my experiences. It's because it really happened to me. So it's really your choice if you want to believe it or not. I really don't care.
Sure.
All I can do is share my experiences, and whatever you guys want to believe, it is what it is. But I had a mothership experience, Jimmy, with a not weird, but it was like my guide, if you will, my tour guide was like this little 7-year-old girl. It was like this girl with long, dirty blonde, brownish hair, straight. She was wearing like some kind of pink shirt, and I just remember me following her, and I'm just like, it felt like I was in a mall. Like it was huge, mad space, mad stuff going on, a lot of people, a lot of commotion. But it was just like she was showing me around, like, oh, look, this and this and this. So I'm assuming I was in the mothership. But this is the crazy part. She ends up taking me to this room, right? And when I go into this room, there's a bunch of like people there. But the room, which was weird, is that it was like I entered the room, and then in front of me was just infinite space. But it wasn't like black and nighttime. It was like, think of like sky, but it just keeps going. Like it was just infinite space. And while I was standing there, all I remember is at the very far distance, I could see 3 little dots, and all the people that were with started making crazy commotion, saying, the gods are coming, the gods are coming, the gods are coming. And I'm just like, I'm just not understanding what's going on. But those 3 dots get closer, 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 and closer. And eventually, when it gets close, where it's kind of like hovering above the platform that we're all in, this woman, I kid you not, she must have been like 8 feet tall, because I was up to like her belly button, and I'm 5'9" without shoes, right? Like I'm 5'9". So if I'm up to her belly button, I don't know how tall she is. But she came out, she had her hair was blonde in a ponytail, looked human-like, but she was disgusted by me. All I remember is when she came out, she looked at me with this dirty look and was like, what is he doing here? It was like that kind of energy. Like, she gave me this weird vibe. Like, the little girl was super sweet, nice, touring me around the mothership, but the being that came out of that shit was super rude, disrespectful to me. Like, she already knew that I wasn't supposed to be there. She could smell my energy. I don't know what it was, but that's the last thing I can remember. As soon as like she was bothered by me, it was like I was taken out of there, and that's the last thing I could remember. She was just like, what is it? Who is this? But she was tall, blonde hair, in a ponytail. She kind of reminded me like a warrior. You know who she reminded me of? Mortal Kombat?
I do.
Sonya?
I do.
She reminded me of Sonya from Combat. That's the kind of vibe. She was like a fighter, warrior-like being that she was just like, who the hell is this guy? Why you got this earthling here right now? Like, that's the kind of energy she gave me. So that was an experience. That happened to me when I was like 24.
I got nothing. I'm going to leave that one right there on the table. I mean, because, okay, so she was projecting that. Were you scared?
I did feel fear when I felt unwanted. As soon as I felt she was like, I felt like it was going to, I don't know, maybe I thought it was going to be a beautiful, benevolent, loving experience.
Right.
Because like the gods are coming, and I don't know if she was an Anunnaki or not. I mean, I don't know, but I just remember hearing all this commotion, like the gods are coming, the gods are coming. And I just remember hearing that phrase, the gods are coming. And when she came out, she was tall as hell, disgusted by me. And I'm like, man, that's unfortunate. Like you see this being, and you would think that you're welcome if you're there. It's not like I chose to be there. I just ended up there. You know what I mean? So it was just weird. But I do remember that experience very vividly. Never seen the little girl, that being, ever again. And the experience I had since then has just been always a different type of being. It's never the same experience twice, man, ever.
Well, it has to be that way, though, CrewZ. There's too many planets out there. There's too many extraterrestrial civilizations. There's billions of them.
Absolutely.
Billions. So, yeah, I wouldn't expect things to repeat. Well, maybe they would, but and maybe they do. But it's if every single ship that arrives here on this planet is from another planet, not the same one, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all. There's way too much stuff out there. Okay, are we up to number 5?
This is an actual astral projection experience that happened to me, and it's probably one of the most profoundest ones I've ever had, other than the one that I got to look at myself in the mirror. But this happened to me in 2012, maybe January 2012. I was still 22 years old. The reason why I can remember these details is because this astral projection occurred while my first son was only 3 months old, sleeping in his bassinet. You know what I'm saying? So it was one of those, paralysis, right? Okay, so a lot of people get afraid of sleep paralysis. I used to have sleep paralysis, since I was a kid. Always happened to me, and you start hyperventilating, panicking. You can't move not even a finger. So, anyways, what I ended up learning after becoming an experienced meditator is that sleep paralysis is when your consciousness is in the in-between state. Your body's sleeping, but you're awake, and you're conscious that you're awake. And if you were to not bug out and get afraid, if you were to just relax, breathe, and just allow the experience to occur, you will have an astral projection experience. You'll have an out-of-body experience. So this experience occurred to me. Well, this is one of those kind of experiences. I projected through a sleep paralysis. My son was 3 months old. What's insane was my astral body was able to go into his bassinet. Like, I went into his bassinet, and I can feel him breathing on what I guess is my shoulder, my arm. I don't know what. Obviously, I can't see myself in this form, but I go into his bassinet, and I can feel my son breathing on like my shoulder. I float out of it. The first thing I noticed is that the master room that I was in at that time, all the walls had a magenta gradient type of color. right? Everything was very magenta. It was like a really gradients, like just different layers of colors, but it was more like magenta stuck out the most to me. And in that moment, my ceiling opened and the whole ceiling turned into this portal. And so, mind you, when you're in the astral form, you're not walking on your feet. You're literally hovering. You're literally floating. And the way that you move is through intention. You don't, it's like as soon as you intend to go down the hallway, you just start moving. It's hard to explain, but there's no walking. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so the ceiling just opens up. And all I remember when I look up is I see white and rainbow kind of swirlish colors, but it was literally like a portal. And at the top, I could see opening, but the opening looked like a sky. So all I can see is like blue skies and shining sun, right? In that moment, as I'm looking up, I saw 3 what looked like huge giant beings at the end of that light where the sky was. And I guess since they were looking down on me, they had the sun behind them. So I can't see their features, but I just see these 3 shadow beings, tall, staring down on me. And I can see their heads go to the side, like they're talking to themselves about me. And then they look back down at me. And in that moment, without even intending it to, my own astral body, I guess you could say, started floating up into the ceiling. So when it went into the ceiling, mind you, this experience happened to me like 2, 3, 4 in the middle at night. You know what I mean? It's like in the middle of the night, everyone's sleeping. So as I'm entering this thing, I look below me and I can see it just closing. And when it closes, everything goes white. And the next thing I know, bro, I'm sitting on my bed upright and it's freaking morning. And I'm by myself on my bed. Like it was as if I was taken and placed back into a reality on my bed. And I can hear breakfast being cooked downstairs because I can hear the pot on the stove and moving around. And my son's not in there. You know, the mother of my kid's not in there. I'm just by myself, sitting upright in it's daytime on the bed. That was probably the weirdest experiences I've ever had because I literally experienced being put back into this morning reality. It was just weird. I wasn't allowed to remember what occurred when I entered that portal, but that happened to me. You know what I mean? And it happened to me when my son was 3 months old. I'll never forget the experience. My whole ceiling literally opened.
Right. And so if I'm understanding you correctly, and this is incredible, is that the white, right? Okay, the white. And then morning, but you don't remember anything in between.
Nothing. It goes white, and then I'm sitting on my bed, and it's morning.
Wow.
It was weird. It was very trippy, but it happened to me when I was still 22 years old. And, you know, since that, like I said, I've had many experiences, man, many experiences.
A full recall. You remembered everything.
Everything, except for when it was white. I can't remember what happens between then.
Yeah, I understand you don't remember the gap part, but what I mean is you sat up and you remembered the magenta, you remember you remember all of that, you remember the white.
Yes.
And then the next thing that you recall is you opening your eyes and you're sitting on the bed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tripped out. But it was like I understood spirit at that point already. I already understood extraterrestrial experiences or outlandish projections. This was probably my 3rd astral projection. You know, I experienced my first one when I was 19. And so I've had a total of about 7 to 8 of them. So from 19 to 33 years old, I've had about 7 to 8 astral projections consciously that I can remember. And the last one happened to me in January of 2019. That's the one where I got to look. I remembered to look myself in the mirror while in the astral form, because I wonder what it's like to look yourself in the mirror when you astral project. But every time I would astral project, it was done without me consciously wanting to do it. It would just occur on its own. So when that happens to you, it's like the thought of going to a mirror would never occur to me. You know what I mean? But my last one that happened in 2019, first time ever, I got to actually remember, like, oh, let me go look myself in the mirror. And it was trippy. That's all I got to say.
Wow. Hey, check this out. We're going to take a break right here. We're going to come back. We'll get into January 2019. Last night, I was reading a book and doing some research on dreams. And I read this last night. I have never heard this before. You cannot read words in a dream.
You know, it's funny. I never thought of that. No, I never thought of that.
Now, think about what I'm saying, right? A newspaper, a poster, you know, writing. You cannot read words in a dream. Now, it stopped me in my. I had to stop and think about that.
That's insane.
Yeah, so I'm going to pop that up. I want the comments here in Twitter and in the chat room. Is this something that everybody already knew about? I'm just finding out about. Have you been able to read words in a dream? And if not, and if you did know about this, go and research it. I ended up, doing a deep dive in this last night. Turns out you cannot read words in a dream. And many have tried, and I'm blown away. I did not know that, and obviously you had never heard about this either. And then what it does, though, it makes you think, right? Have I ever had a? Have I? And then suddenly you think to yourself, no, I haven't. Right? Yeah, that's crazy.
I never thought of it, to be honest with you. I can't say I remember ever reading in a dream.
Exactly. That's what happened to me last night. Let's take our break right here. This is Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, the one and only CrewZ. Consciousness from the streets. All of his links are there. They're in the description box below. I have posted them up. You've got to go and check out his stuff. He's amazing. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX-DB, VX.
2022 MUFON Symposium is in Denver, Colorado, July 7th through 10th, and it's on. If you can't make it to Denver, get the live stream. You can watch it live and anytime later. This year's theme is UFOs in the Spotlight. Our speaker lineup is incredible. Join Cheryl Jones, Peter Robbins, Michael Schratt, Kathleen Martin, Tom Reed, Paul Hynek, Peter Davenport, Dave Scott, Craig Campabasso, Donald Schmidt, Mark D'Antonio, and me, Ron James, for an exciting inside look at my new film. Newsflash, Congressman Tim Burchett has just confirmed that he will be making an exclusive live presentation at MUFON 2022. Tim is the most outspoken member of Congress on the UAP topic. You do not want to miss what he has to say. Sign up for our live stream. Get all 3 days of the MUFON Symposium, a 1-year subscription to MUFON TV, and an awesome free gift. What's the free gift? Find out at MUFONSymposium.com/Jimmy. That's MUFONSymposium.com/Jimmy. You do not want to miss a thing.
Hello, Fadernauts. Jimmy Church here. You've seen me with my Thunderstorm. Now you can purify the air in your home and get healthy, clean, fresh-smelling air and eliminate odors just like I do right here in the bunker. The EdenPURE Thunderstorm uses oxy technology that naturally sends out O3 molecules into the air, which seek out odors and air pollutants in your home and destroys them. It's called a thunderstorm because it purifies the air just like after a thunderstorm. And right now, you can save $200 on an EdenPURE Thunderstorm 3-pack for whole home protection. With this special offer, you're getting 3 units for under $200. Seriously. Go to EdenPureDeals.com and use Fader3. Shipping is free and it's easy. Just scroll down. You'll see my name right there, Jimmy Church. Click on it and get your deal today. That's EdenPureDeals.com.
Are you ready to read about true paranormal events? Unex Media publishes nonfiction books about UFOs, ghosts and haunted places, time anomalies, cryptid creatures, and more. Just like KUNX-DB Radio, it's all about unexplained phenomena. Visit www.unxmedia.com to see our list of great book titles by Debbie Ziegelmeyer, Gene Walker, Devin Listrom, Wayne Lawrence, Bill Spicer, and yours truly, Margie Kay. That's unxmedia.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from River Moon. Just click on the River Moon coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B blend.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and this year, June 18th, 2022, the Disclosure Fest Foundation presents the Mass Meditation Initiative. It's Saturday, June 18th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. one day only at the Los Angeles State Historic Park in downtown Los Angeles, California, right next to Chinatown. I'm hosting the event again this year with music performances by Trevor Hall, The Desert Dwellers, Porangi, and many, many more on 4 separate stages. There's 16 stages in total, over 30 acres in downtown Los Angeles, with vendors and tents and presentations and workshops with Billy Carson, Adam Apollo, Lori Spagna, Laura Eisenhower, Brad Olson, David Palmer, and many, many more. It's all simple to do. Just go to disclosurefest.org for all of your tickets, information, and a full schedule of the day's events. Again, disclosurefest.org.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, CrewZ, is with us. Tomorrow night, Karen A. Dahlman is here. We're going to do Ouija 101 history. That's right. A master class going down tomorrow night. And then Wednesday night, David Palmer is here. Tonight, it's CrewZ. And what I wanted to take a little bit of time here during this last segment is ancient history, because you also sing about this as well. When you go into the deep dive into this and you start to look at different structures around the world and who the Anunnaki are and the different parts of history that are there, what did you start to find out for yourself? Did you resolve any questions about ancient civilizations and what might have been here before us, this version of us arrived?
I mean, for me, the ancient civilization stuff started with my fascination with Atlantis, because, as a little kid, you see Disney movies about Atlantis and all of these things. They talk about a lost civilization called Atlantis that were super, advanced, all of these things. And so obviously it piques your interest when you're a kid. You're super interested in that. So that is what honestly fascinated me first in terms of ancient civilizations. The fact that, is Atlantis real? What happened? How, whatever. That's how it started for me. But then obviously when you get into extraterrestrial, you start looking at the Great Pyramids of Giza, Machu Picchu, all of the stuff in Mexico, what's it called? The thing in England, the Stonehenge, and then the Moai stones in Easter Island. Obviously, at that point in my mind, it was just obvious that something has to, something's got to give, man. Well, we can't even recreate these structures with the technologies we have today on the earth. So, what the hell, man? What how did this come to be? So obviously I already knew there was something there I didn't fully understand. But back in those days when I was a young teen and getting into my early 20s, I did so much research and I didn't have really good discernments back then. So, you kind of get gullible, just believe everything you read. But I did everything from reading the Emerald Tablets, the Terra Papers, the Enuma Elish. I got really deep into these things. Some of Zechariah Sitchin's books, Sumerian clay tablets, Billy's information. Once I got exposed to forbidden knowledge, I started looking even more into Anunnakis and all of these things. I read the Lost Book of Enki. The Lost Book of Enki alone by Zechariah Sitchin will pretty much tell you the entire story of the Anunnakis. You know what I mean? If you really want to understand it, that specific book will really break it down for you. But yeah, I mean, I just got exposed to all this information, started making a lot of sense. The pyramid on Mars or the face on Mars. If you read the Sumerian tablets and you start learning that the face on Mars is actually Alalu's face. And Alalu was the king of Nibiru into the Anunnakis. He had a fight with King Anu and whatever, where he bit his penis off, apparently, as crazy and ridiculous as that sounds. But if you really read these tablets, these ancient Sumerian tablets, what it says, they had this war, this fight or whatever. He lost, bit the man's penis off, was exiled to Mars to die because he had pretty much consumed poison. And so because he was a great king at the end of the day, they created that face on Mars. It's literally the face of Alalu, I guess you could say. So it's like a lot of the things that don't make sense to us, these great wonders of the world, if you read the Sumerian tablets and all these other, ancient writings, it starts to make sense. And if you really look into it, you start noticing that they predate the Bible. You know what I'm saying? The Bible is not even 2,000 years old. If you read the Bible, you learn that there's, they talk about the Garden of Eden, Noah's Ark, and the Tower of Babel, and all of these things that the tablets that are thousands of years older than the Bible talk about. So it goes to show you who wrote it first. You know what I mean? I mean, there's just so much information, man. We could sit here all night and talk about these things, but it truly excites me. I love talking about our true history because as a kid, I used to hate history class, social studies. It was boring to me. Now I know why, because it was full of lies. It's like I innately just knew not to trust it. But I love the stuff that Billy's doing, everything to do with ancient civilizations. I think it's amazing, just to know where we came from. So that way we can understand who we are and where we're going,
Here's the thing for me about the Anunnaki that probably messes with me the most. We can look at Sitchin. We can look at the tablets directly. We can extrapolate what we need to get out of it. But there is two things. One is on the hard science side. I'll get to that in a second. And the second is the story of the Anunnaki and the creation of us. Okay, so they didn't want to labor on digging, digging for gold. Created us to be a slave race and clones and robots and whatever you want to classify that as. But this story is between 400 and 200,000 years old. It was a period of time for about 200,000 years when we're here.
Right.
What the facts of the case are, so you've got the Sumerian story of the Anunnaki, and then you have the facts. And the facts are we just appeared here 200,000 years ago.
Yeah, Homo sapiens, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And somebody snipped our DNA and our chromosomes and the chromosome pairs and what is missing.
Yeah, they shortened our lifespan to 120 years.
And you so you've got the myth, right? You've got the creation myth, the story on on tablets, and then you have what science and anthropologists are going to tell you,
right?
And we've never found the missing link. And then to us, and then wait a minute, aren't these the same stories then? And that's the part that just messes with my head. Where and I've talked to and I'm serious about this, CrewZ. I've talked to professional anthropologists about this, and they'll say, well, yeah, it happened, but it just happened. Wait, you can't just say that, right? They don't want to ponder or wonder how it happened. They just, it happened so
because
well.
a lot of those people in that level they already know. They know that it doesn't benefit them for the masses to understand this information. If you understand that your origins is tied to extraterrestrials, then you're going to start demanding more truth and like, okay, so then what is the purpose of this? How does God play into all of this? How does religion play into spirituality? If extraterrestrials are real, then what does that mean for us? Like if Anunnakis created us initially to be a slave race and my goal for them, how do we get to where we are today? Then now we can access higher realms of consciousness. Like how does it all play into this? And like I said, man, that one particular book, The Lost Book of Enki, really broke down a lot of this Anunnaki story for me to really dissect it and understand. And now I can explain it to people because man, it's just it makes so much sense. You know what I mean? A lot of things that we don't understand about life, certain things, how they came to be, monuments, whatever. These tablets really explain it. You know what I'm saying? And it just correlates and it makes sense a lot, like what you said, what science says, how Homo sapiens just appeared 200,000 years ago out of nowhere, but yet the Anunnaki story is between 200 to 450,000 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, where did this all happen? How did this occur? So it's very fascinating, man. Very fascinating information. It resonates with me a lot, the whole Anunnaki story. I know there's more to it, of course, that we don't understand, but you know, I'm sure we'll eventually.
We can go into the fossil record. Now, fossils themselves are pretty rare. Okay,
Right.
you have a certain process that has to happen for fossils to be created. Something has to die in the mud. You know, it has, you know, and all of these things have to happen. Okay, I get that part of it. But we are able to piece together everything else in the fossil record on this planet, except for one thing.
Right.
Us. Right? Everything else is there. Everything else is there except for us. And when we look at Neanderthal, or we look at Lucy, or we look at Cro-Magnon, okay, they look as much like us as a chimpanzee looks like us. Right? Okay, so we see two eyes and a nose and a mouth and ears and you know, and things. Okay, but they're still not us. We just appeared gorgeous, beautiful, masculine, perfect, feminine. You know what I mean? No hair, the face, the everything, just like that.
Right.
Nothing transitioned.
That's the missing link. The missing link is extraterrestrial. That's the
Right.
missing link. You know, we are made in their image. That's when, you know, the Bible says, let us make man in our image. It never said, let me make man in my image. So it's plural. That shows you it's a group of beings speaking here. Let us make man in our image. And so you get people who confuse that and think that God is a huge human in the sky because we were made in his image. It's like, no, that doesn't mean that. You know what I mean? Like, we look like the Anunnaki humanoid type of beings, but we are like a smaller version of them. It's like they created a smaller version of themselves. That's why we can only grow to about 6 feet. Some people are 7 feet, 8 feet, whatever. But apparently their heights are much more massive than us, you know? So if you don't have that awareness and you see this massive, huge human being with all this technology and all these abilities, yeah, you think it's a god in your presence. But the Anunnakis are not gods. They're flesh and bone beings who can be killed, just like me and you. Obviously, they don't want you to know that, but that's what it is. These beings can be killed. They are flesh, and they're not gods. They're still a warring race. They're still lost in that frequency of duality. So at the end of the day, they're still part of this low density. You know what I mean? As you go higher in densities and dimensions, 4th density, 5th density, the way you experience God is just a more collective, cohesive, integrated consciousness. You're experiencing God now in 3rd density as an individualized form of consciousness. And that's why God experiences itself as trillion upon trillion of beings. But we are all aspects of God. You know what I mean? So that's just all it is understanding energy, vibration, and frequency. It really helps you understand the mechanics and nature of reality.
There's okay, so except, and this is where I go, but right, in that if you take the way things are phrased in the Bible, where in God's image, well, maybe the heavens are the universe. And that we are created in, you know, they use the word God, but it's extraterrestrial.
Right.
That we are from that image, you know, from the heavens, which are the universe. And I've always wondered if we just kind of flip it around a little bit and turn angels into aliens, right? And turn God into and created in that image. Well, then. Yeah. Okay. They just
Makes
didn't
more
know how to
sense.
write it. Yeah. They didn't know how to write it. They don't want to freak people out. And also when the Bible was written, and even the Sumerian tablets, but when the Bible was written in the Old Testament, you can't tell people about extraterrestrials. They wouldn't understand it.
Of course, they'll ridicule it anyway. I mean, we're programmed and designed to laugh at and ridicule what we don't understand and what we fear. So it's been happening to us for millennia. You know, they programmed us to be that way, unfortunately.
And what do you think about what's happening today? The ATIP and the UAP task force and hearings on Capitol Hill, and now UFOs are something that everybody is talking about. Is something about to happen?
Right. It's funny because the days that we're living in today, I've been waiting for since I was a teenager. I've been waiting for this type of stuff for over a decade, you know, being able to have that aha, I told you so moment to people where it's like, I told you, I've been talking about extraterrestrials for over 10 years. Y'all thought I was crazy, but now you're seeing this is real. You got the own president creating a space force. You got all of these people. Now China came out with that, you know, that thing that China said that they received messages from extraterrestrials and then they deleted that. Like that just happened. They're priming humanity for this stuff. And it's like anything that has to do with official disclosure, government wise, I don't trust it. I feel like it's always going to be tied to an agenda because true disclosure is occurring through the hearts of humanity. If you know who Dr. Stephen Greer is, who he has those special, you know, study that he be doing, you yourself have the ability to call upon these beings and they will come to you depending on the frequency that you are. You know what I'm saying? If you're a genuine higher frequency human that has genuine loving and compassionate intentions, and your intention is to make contact and you keep that intensity, consistency every day, you're meditating on it, you're going to eventually, my friend, contact an actual extraterrestrial race. It's just going to happen. You're inviting that energy in. Right. So a lot of these beings, you know, when people ask you, why don't they just land on the White House and just show themselves to us? It's because they understand frequency and they understand that they can't do that to you. Your whole system and central nervous system will go into shock. You can literally like go into shock because it goes against your belief system. If you're someone, for example, who doesn't believe in extraterrestrials. So it's kind of like there's so much that goes into this, man. There's so much that goes into it. Disclosure and the whole nine, you know.
Now, what about consciousness? You know, that's the title of the show tonight, you know, consciousness from the streets.
I love it. I love that you're going to get into that now because that's what I'm about.
What is it?
To me, consciousness is energy, but it is conscious of itself. That's why it is consciousness. Your mind is a field of energy that is encompassing your entire body. A lot of people think our brains are our minds, but they're not. Your brain acts as a physical receiver of what your consciousness is conceiving. Right. So like Bashar says, your higher mind conceives the thoughts, your brain is receiving the thoughts, and your eyes are perceiving your thoughts. So it's like you conceive, receive, perceive. That's how the human system works in creating reality, how you can perceive your thoughts, right? You manifest your thoughts into reality. I forgot where I was going with this. What was the question again, Jimmy?
What is consciousness?
So yeah, consciousness to me is eternal energy. But there are many layers because consciousness in and of itself is a multidimensional thing. Awareness phenomena. That means it is simultaneously existing on multidimensional levels of existences simultaneously. It is truly an omnipresent energy, right? So to me, consciousness is energy, which is conscious of itself, and it has an intelligence to create, to manifest. That's what consciousness is. Now, consciousness can manifest itself in any form that it wants to. So when someone asks that age-old question, what comes first, the egg or the chicken? To me, the answer to that is both, because consciousness can manifest itself as a full adult chicken if it chooses to, but it can also manifest itself as a chicken that lays the egg and now it's an egg. So it's kind of like both come first. There's no answer to that. There's no either or. It's both. Consciousness can manifest itself as a full-blown adult if it chooses to. You don't have to start the whole baby phase and the egg phase. Like consciousness is infinite. And so therefore, for God to be infinite, that means that God is capable of expressing himself even as an evil being. You can't be like, well, everything is God except for the devil and evil. No, even that is an aspect of God, because for God to truly be infinite, it needs to, by definition, be able to express itself in an infinite multitude of ways. And so you as an individual soul, you have free will. And because of that, you have the choice to choose. Do you want to be on the darker, negative, lower frequency side or the positive, higher frequency side? That's your choice. That's why what you put out is what you get back. The law of attraction, you know, you have the choice to be evil and positive, but what you put out is what you get back. That's the thing. You know what I mean?
Okay. So why do physicists have such an issue with it, where they won't discuss what consciousness is? They know that they can talk, think, laugh, and you know, and do things, but they don't want to admit that it is something that is real.
Because in my opinion, those people who are based strictly off of science, they lack the spiritual experiences to understand the science that they're studying. Because if you're really smart, for example, these scientists, top world scientists who understand mechanics and physics, you know, quantum physics, and all of these things, but they've never had themselves an actual, authentic spiritual realm experience, or the true experience of unconditional love from all that is God, the source. If you've never had a real life experience, it doesn't matter how intelligent, how many degrees you've got, how much you study it, it's just going to be science to you. It's just going to be energy, frequency, whatever. There's no connection to what you're studying because you yourself lack the personal experience. You know what I mean? I feel like when a scientist goes through a real life spiritual third eye, astral projection, whatever the case may be, experience, it's an experience no one can take from you. You're not going to care if someone thinks you're crazy or not because you went through it. And for example, because I see some comments coming in earlier when I was talking about my stories with ETs, I was 100% sober. There was no drugs involved, no psychedelics, no shrooms, none of that. These experiences occur sober, meditating sober. You know what I mean? So that's why you're not crazy. No one can take these experiences from you because you experienced it sober. No drugs, no psychedelics, no enhancers, nothing. You know what I mean? At that point, no one, Jimmy, can tell you you're crazy because you're the one going through it. You know, you're the one experiencing it. And you can recall and retain the memory to the T. So that's how you know what's real and what's not. You can discern the experiences. Now, a lot of people start going off the shrooms and psilocybin and stuff like that, DMT, acid, whatever. It's easier to discredit, oh, well, you were just high because you did this. You know what I'm saying? But when someone's fully sober and is telling you they had it, you can't discredit that. Or you can say, well, that person's crazy, yeah, whatever. But it doesn't bother that individual that understands energy, vibration, and frequency. Like anyone can call you crazy. It just depends on what level of awareness they're operating from. That's what determines what they can understand. You know what I mean?
All of my contact experiences, every one, and I've had a lot, sober.
Facts.
I mean,
Facts.
I haven't done anything fun in over 20 years. Right. And the things that I have seen, stone cold sober. That's the one thing nobody can point at me. So were you high? Nope.
Exactly.
You drinking? Nope.
That's why I can talk about these experiences with confidence and not care about how I come across to people if they think I'm crazy or they're weird or whatever the case may be. Like, it doesn't bother me because I know what it is. I know what I've been through. So it's like, I understand if you're not going to understand, it's okay. It doesn't affect me in any way. You know what I mean? That's your life, your journey. You're entitled to believe what you want.
The other day, give you an example. The other day, I'm done with the show. This is like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And I go out into my backyard, and which I do every night after the show, you know, get some fresh air, you know, and I live in the desert. I've got, you know, the unbelievable display of the night sky above me. And I'm walking through, and something tells me, CrewZ, I swear, people talk about this all the time, and I just kind of laugh it off. But this happened to me. Something said, get your night vision and go outside.
You be feeling it like that.
Right,
yeah.
Right? I was like, oh, okay. So I stop and I pick up my night vision goggles, and the batteries were dead. And I didn't want to walk back and get a fresh set of batteries and unscrew it and put it back together. And I put them back down. But something said, get your night vision and go outside. So I put the night vision down and I go outside anyway. And I look straight up, just like this. I look straight up. And at that moment, this object lit up, and it went to the north, and it only lasted for 3 seconds, but it happened as I looked up.
Perfect moment. That's what I was telling you before. Perfect
Lit
timing.
And now, wait a minute here. What the bleep's going on? Now, am I sober? Yeah, it's just not only am I sober, I just wrapped the show.
Right.
I'm whacked out on caffeine. I'm ready to go, right? And it was the craziest experience for me. And so, you know what I did? I laughed. I did. I was like, that was cool. Man, you know, and I'm by myself. There was nobody around me. And now it's just a story. I don't have video. I don't have anything.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, I did. If you go to my YouTube channel, CrewZ, do this after the show tonight. Go to my YouTube channel.
Okay.
Go to videos. There's a video there called Crazy Night in Palmdale.
Okay.
Again, I just finished the show, and I went into my kitchen and I put on a pot of water to boil for some pasta. Right, so that takes a few minutes. And so I walked outside, had my cell phone, put my cell phone down, and I walked outside and I just look due east, and you can watch the video. The video, I published it. There was a bright light off in the distance, like straight up, like here. Oh, wow, that's pretty bright. And as I looked at that, right next to it, another one lit up. Now there's two. And I'm like, wow, okay, that's pretty cool. That's dramatic. And then a third lights up. Pop, triangle, just like this. Right straight in front of me. And I went, now I'm getting my phone, right? So and I hit the video and I'm videotaping. Now, as I'm filming these three, and it's crazy, dude, bright, man, just right in front of me. This jet takes off from Lockheed Skunk Works, and it appears in front, flies in front of these things sideways. The plane is sideways, doesn't take off, flies sideways in front of me, turns, makes a U-turn, and lands. And I'm like, whoa. What? Right? It was like all at the same time, right above. It was nuts. So anyway, am I high? No, this is right after the show. It's time stamped. It's there, and you can hear the description of everything. But these experiences happen when I'm of the clearest of mind. There's no fog in the mirror.
Every time, yeah, man. For me too. Every time I've had these crazy paranormal, extraterrestrial, whatever experiences, astral projection has always been sober. When I don't know, and I never asked for it. It's not like I intend to astral project or I intend to connect with an ET. Every time it's happened, it's been spontaneous. I've never expected it, and it just occurs. Like, it's weird, bro. It's just meant to happen whenever it happens for whatever reason, you know.
Ken, you know what? I don't want to end the show. You want to keep going?
I'm down if you're down.
Okay, let's jump into our break right here, and that's it. Let's do one more segment. I was going to open up the phone lines. Now we'll hold off on that, and let's just keep this going. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight is CrewZ. What a perfect conversation. I have another thing I want to discuss with CrewZ. So we're going to do that right after the break. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What a great way to kick off the week. I'll be right back. Stay with me.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hello, Fadernauts. Jimmy Church here, and I know what you're thinking. Lately, Jimmy sounds so fresh. He's so alert. He's so now. Well, that's because of biotech research and their new supplement, BrainPEAK 9. BrainPEAK 9 contains 9 nutrients that may help support brain function of memory, concentration, recall, and improve focus. Other memory supplements can cost as much as $129 for a 60-day supply. But right now, for a limited time, if you use the discount code FADER, that's right, FADER, just for the Fadernauts, you'll get a 60-day supply for just $49. There's no better time than right now to see what others have been raving about. Help improve your brain function. Go to BrainPEAK9.com and enter the discount code FADER. That's right, for the Fadernauts. That's BrainPEAK9.com. Discount code FADER. And the links are over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Click on it now. Seriously.
This is Billy Carson, founder and CEO of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv is the fastest growing and one of the most watched networks in the world. And I would like to personally invite you to check out our expanding library of TV, film, lectures, and special presentations. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv has over 6,000 videos covering lost history, health, UFOs, spirituality, and our future. We are committed to our community, and with my personal invitation, you can right now get your own free 30-day membership at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Your own library of information starts today at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX-DB, VX.
Are you ready to read about true paranormal events? Unex Media publishes nonfiction books about UFOs, ghosts and haunted places, time anomalies, cryptid creatures, and more. Just like KUNX-DB Radio, it's all about unexplained phenomena. Visit www.unxmedia.com to see our list of great book titles by Debbie Ziegelmeyer, Gene Walker, Devin Listrom, Wayne Lawrence, Bill Spicer, and yours truly, Margie Kay. That's unxmedia.com.
Introducing the Game Changer blend from River Moon Coffee that delivers a customized blend made specifically for the Fadernauts. If the game is rigged, change the game. It's a bolder cup with some bite. Game Changer is the coffee of choice for those that prefer an organic dark roast that is slightly lighter and milder, but it's still dark. With wild notes of pecans and chocolate with a rich, balanced, full-bodied cup that is roasted to perfection for a great coffee to start your day, as an after-dinner coffee or anywhere in between. Artisan, small batch, roasted to perfection. USDA certified organic, all River Moon coffee is freshly roasted and packaged in the USA. Just go to rivermooncoffee.com or click on the banners over on our site and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. rivermooncoffee.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JamieChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, CrewZ is with us. I just didn't want to end this conversation. It's too great. Amazing. And so let's just jump straight back into it. What I wanted to ask you about, and you mentioned this earlier, was sleep paralysis.
Okay.
Now, what have you experienced with it?
What I've experienced with it was understanding that it is the state of being you're in when you are about to leave the body and go into what we would call the dream state, because you honestly astral project every single night that you go to sleep. That's what your dreams are. You are in the astral template of reality. But the reason why you don't remember them when you come back to the body is because you're doing this unconsciously. So you can look at sleep as a form of unconscious meditation. Look at meditation as a form of conscious sleeping. So if you astral project consciously through meditation, now you're in the same realm that your spirit is in when you're sleeping in deep REM sleep. The difference is you're in that same realm consciously, and this is why you retain all the experiences, the memories of what you go through in an astral projection, because you're consciously there, as opposed to when you're dreaming. That's why your dreams shift. It could be like you're a little kid and then you're older, you're here and then you're there, because you are in a realm of non-linear time. You can literally shift from future, present, past, whatever. But if you're consciously there, an astral projection through a sleep paralysis experience, the experience is just a lot more amazing, and you can control it now consciously. But to answer your question, man, sleep paralysis is all about that experience where you find yourself that your body is now in deep sleep, but your mind isn't. It fades into the dream state unconsciously the way it usually does. It's like you remained conscious, and that's why you're now in that phase where you're hyperventilating, you're panicking, you can't move your body. You're getting scared, and a lot of people start saying they can start hearing loud noises. They feel pressures on their chest, like a shadow being's on them. All of these things that they start doing. Why? Because when you're in the astral template of reality, your thoughts manifest instantaneously. When you astral project, you manifest what you're thinking instantaneously. That's why someone who doesn't have full control over their thoughts and their emotions shouldn't be messing around with astral projection, because you're going to literally manifest a hellish experience around you instantaneously. So if you don't control your thoughts or your emotions, you shouldn't be astral projecting. That's just facts, But as you start to go through trial and error, get exposed to this realm, you start to understand it better, how to maneuver through it better, how to actually go through the walls, because you can go through the walls. You're not bounded by the elements anymore when you're in this realm.
The experiences by so many, including myself, seem to have to be inclusive of a being showing up in their room. And when they're experiencing this sleep paralysis coming out of the dream state, that there is something you just said, some pressure on the body, or a dark entity in the room, or something physical.
Right.
Have you experienced that?
Yes, but it's kind of weird. I've experienced a few things in my life, even like since I was a kid. My mother's side of the family is very spiritually in tune. For whatever reason, they're in tune with spirits. I have family members who've seen apparitions, spirits, all of these things. I'm, super into it since I was a kid because of that. It's just a spiritual thing, I could say. But even when I was a kid, I can remember I was probably like 10 or 11, that in the middle of the night, I woke up and like this weird demonic being pulled my leg, and that's what woke me up. And I remember seeing on the edge of my bed, being half awake, seeing this weird face figure thing that scared me, but it was weird. Like I just went back to sleep out of the fear. I had so much fear that I just made myself go back to sleep. But I can remember those things when I was a child, like having these weird, I don't want to say demonic, but these weird kind of experiences where it put me in a lot of fear. And so that started to happen to me again when I was 18, 19, when I started meditating. When I was telling you earlier, like I started getting psychically attacked, feeling like they were trying to abduct me or whatever the case may be. I was having experiences. I had this weird abstract experience with a gray being. And I say abstract because think of like an X-ray picture, right? It was as if I was in an abstract realm. If that makes sense, I don't know. But it was like blackness, and I would see like the skeletal of a gray come from like our doorway and make eye contact with me. And I just remember being on my bed screaming at the top of my lungs every time it manifests. And when it would manifest, it'd see me scream, it would get scared and it would run back like where I couldn't see it. And then he'd come back again to check on me. I'd scream at the top of my lungs again. He'd get scared and he'd run back again. Like that's an experience that happened to me when I was living in my apartment before I had my first astral projection experience. It was just so much fear, but it was like a skeletal gray. It's just, I don't know how to explain it or why that happened to me. Yes, I've been through many experiences, man, where I've been in a state of fear, but mastering the breath and meditation, getting into Kriya yoga, learning about the autobiography of Yogi by Paramahamsa Yogananda, I'm a huge advocate for. When I really started diving deeper into the spiritual aspect, and I started understanding more the spirit realm, having astral projection, lucid dream experiences, this is what gave me the confidence and the power to lose the fear of that, because I started understanding, well, first of all, you cannot experience that which you are not the vibration of. So if I elevate my frequency to a point where I am standing in my power all the time, these beings can't even manifest themselves in my presence. I started understanding the power of frequencies, and that's what changed my experiences. It was like from that point forward, I stopped having negative, scary experiences. And that's when I started having like those experiences with the Asian group and, all of these different beings. I started becoming more benevolent because I changed my mindset. I was no longer I was learning how to protect my energy, not allowing those things in. But at that time, when you first start meditating, you're open to anything. You're just so fascinated by it all that you're just like, yes, I want to experience it all. You don't understand how to protect your energy. You don't understand that these beings will attach themselves to your auric field and, like an energy vampire, suck you dry, man. They'll really take your energy away from you. You have to be careful when dealing with these kind of things because you need to first learn energy protection, sage, Palo Santo, praying, setting intentions, whatever the case may be. You have to learn how to protect your energies, crystals, whatever.
Right. I've only had one bona fide, real sleep paralysis moment, and this was 27 years ago, 1995.
Nice.
And but I had never heard of sleep paralysis. There was definitely one that my experience was about 15 minutes long. There was this being at the foot of my bed. I've never gone into the details of it because I don't want to pollute other people's minds and things. But I listen to other people's experiences and connect it with mine and things. But here's the deal.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at this person, this thing for 15 minutes. And when I finally came out of this, when I was able to move, this thing was gone. But here's my point.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got into a little bit of research on this, and probably I slept with the lights on for 10 years. And I started to find out more as years have gone by about what sleep paralysis is. Now, certainly over the last 10 years, I've interviewed many people about this and talked about it a lot, and I've done a lot of research on it. Here's the trippy part.
Mm-hmm.
It never happened to me again. Right. And so that one single, and it was terrifying. It sucked. I did not enjoy it.
It does suck when you're going through it, for sure.
It was not fun. I'm telling you.
Right.
So anyway, but it never happened again. So why is it that all of my experiences since then have been pretty cool, right? Pretty positive. I've never had a repeat of sleep paralysis, and I certainly don't know why. I haven't practiced meditation or putting salt by my bedroom door, whatever it is. I haven't done any of that. But all of my experiences since then have been generally pretty positive and pretty cool. I don't know why.
Maybe that initial negative experience was to just jumpstart your mind, to expand you to the point that these things is real. And, once you had that experience, it's like you subconsciously make that choice. I don't want to experience that again. And just by making that choice, you're now attracting differently. You know what I'm saying? You're not in that frequency anymore to attract that negative experience. So maybe that experience, remember, everything is divinely orchestrated, Jimmy. Everything happens for a reason. Even the negative experiences in our lives is for a reason that we can't understand in that moment. But eventually we could look back and understand the correlation of why it happened. So it's like that experience for you, in my opinion, what I get from Spirit is that experience had to happen to you so that you can become more open-minded to the fact that this is real phenomenon. And now you can play around with it and choose which frequency you choose to experience, the benevolent one or the malevolent one again. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why it's never happened to you. You made that conscious choice subconsciously, maybe, to not want to go through that again. And now you don't attract that stuff.
I remember here's one thing I'll share with you. So I go through my condo, I turn on all the lights, nobody's there, the doors are locked, the sliding glass doors are locked, and I was a bit confused. I went back into my bedroom over by the sliding glass doors. There was a patio in my bedroom, right? Okay. And I literally opened up the blinds and looked up and thought to myself, was there a flying saucer over my house in Sherman Oaks? Wouldn't people have noticed that? Right. This is a city. This is Los Angeles. And I found myself looking up at the sky, thinking about that. And I did make an extraterrestrial connection to this. I really did. And it was something that I thought about for years. Was there a craft above my building?
If you thought about it for that much, you knew that there was something. You might have had an abduction experience and you were put back in that moment. You just knew that something happened and you just can't remember it all. But in your soul, something happened that day.
Yeah, I'm not going there. I've had so many offers, for regression for this experience to go. And
you don't want to do it?
No, I don't want to find out.
When you're meant to find out, you will.
Let's just leave it right there. That's what I've always told myself. I'm cool. It was a great experience, and I'm really glad, in a strange way, that had happened, because it gives you a point of reference when I'm interviewing others to understand what they're trying to say. And also I pick up on those little nuggets, right? Those little clues that their experience was as real as mine.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of like we were talking about this the other day on the show. DMT. I haven't done that, right? I haven't done it. I haven't had an ayahuasca ceremony or DMT.
Me neither.
Yeah, I haven't done it, but I've interviewed so many. And so is it best for research purposes only, CrewZ, right? To at least do it one time so I have a point of reference in future interviews? Because
I feel like, oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, because I, like the sleep paralysis experience that I've had, I can talk about it, right? But I know what I went through.
Right.
So should I have a regression so I have a point of reference? Should I, so when I talk to people about regressions in the future, that I have that experience, and or DMT or ayahuasca, do I do it one time so I have a point of reference? So maybe I'll do a regression at some point. Maybe
whenever you're ready, your soul will know when it's ready for something like that. It'll just feel like it's time to do it. You'll have an interest. You know what I mean?
Have you had regression done?
I've never done it, man. I have a friend in South Florida. His name is Marlon. He's got like 50,000 followers on Instagram. He actually took Dolores Cannon's last workshop before she died. He does all of that stuff. Like, that he tells me, "Yo, CrewZ, let me get a session on you. I could do a past life regression." I haven't talked to him in probably over a year, but yeah, man, like something inside me was like, I don't know why. It's like, even though I probably could do it, something inside me just didn't, I guess I wasn't ready to go through it.
Right.
But to add on to what you were saying, man, like, you know how they say when you meditate in pure darkness, your pineal gland secretes more DMT. And that's why when you meditate in darkness, you have more of a hallucinogenic experience. I feel like I've had so many of those experiences. And because of that I don't care for shrooms, psychedelics, and none of that stuff, because I feel like I already go through that experience sober. You know what I mean? So I don't really feel like I need it to see what it can bring me. I understand the science of these tools, that the purpose of them is to broaden the senses of a human being who doesn't have any basis or awareness, but once they do something like DMT or shrooms or ayahuasca, they have such a profound experience that it changes them forever. But what happens when there's a human being who's been doing this since they were 18 years old, having profound experiences already? You don't really get intrigued by the thought of trying shrooms, for example. Like, I've done shrooms twice in my life, and the 2 times that I did it, I didn't like it. I was nauseous the entire time. I could feel as if I was to just close my eyes and let go, yes, I could tell that if I just let go of my awareness, I could sense that I was just going to just go into the universe somewhere, because I could feel myself slipping out of reality, but I was just holding it there. But what I didn't like is the fact that I was just nauseous the entire time. It was as if the nausea took away from the experience. And the 2 times that I did it, it was like that. So I was just like, this is not for me. I'm not really into it. Now, I have friends who microdose, who swear by it, it's helped them heal and all of these things. I just feel like I have so much profound meditative natural experiences. At this point, it doesn't intrigue me. I don't need it because I've had it sober. And so it's like, to me, it's more profound when it's sober and you experience a being or a realm or whatever. It's way more profound than when you're under the influence,
Yeah, there is when you meditate in the dark and your pineal gland is releasing and melatonin is created. And then when you open your eyes to the sunlight and expose yourself to light, then the melatonin is chemically turned into serotonin.
Right.
And you have this chemical change in this, right?
Yeah.
This awareness and this awake. That's why when you wake up in the morning and you open your eyes, all of that is converted. That's what happens. And so if you meditate in the dark, you are doing what happens to you naturally.
Yeah.
Well, eventually you have to come out of that meditative state and you got to open your eyes at some point. And when you do that, you force this chemical change in your body. And there is a lot of how do I want to say this? There's a lot of ancient knowledge that goes back thousands of years about these practices, about meditating in the dark and going outside and facing the morning sun, right? You go out blindfolded, you're facing the morning sun, and then boom, you open your eye, and then this explosion happens.
Yeah, it's like overload, sensory overload.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What if you were regressed?
Mm-hmm.
Is there certain things that you would want to find out? In other words, like with your friend, would you want to focus on a certain event, right? The Asians, the mustard dude, right? Would you want
Honestly,
to do
of course, for sure, man. Just to see what else happened. You know, the astral projection experience where everything went white when I entered the portal, I ended up in my bed in the morning. Like, I would love to know what happened in the in-between, or with that giant being that said that was disgusted by my energy. Like, what happened? How did I leave there? How did I get back home? Of course, I would love to understand that. In terms of like past life regression, though, I haven't shared this with you yet, but when I was same age, 19, 20 years old, I had an experience through a meditation. I got to relive the way I died in a past life. And It was super crazy because I relived it. Like, I was put back in that body and I died again. It was disgusting. It was weird, but it happened to me sober during a meditation. It wasn't even like I didn't astral project. I just got so deep in a meditation that I went back to medieval times. The year exactly that I died was 1495. So I had an experience that I got to relive that, how I died. I was actually in war. I fought in this war. And bro, I did my research on this, Jimmy. You know, when I woke up, I started researching 1495 wars, all of these things to try to correlate, like, you know, what was that? And then I ended up coming across information that correlated online. Like, there was this battle between, in 1495, between France and Italy, called a Battle of Fort Nova, something like that, I think it's called, but it was in 1495, from 1495 to 1497. And it just correlates, Jimmy, because in that experience, you know, I see the numbers 1495. And it's like, if you think of a movie, when you're like watching a war movie, it was a war going on, and let's say like you're the perspective, an aerial view, but you see it starts like zooming in into the war like that. So that's how the experience happened for me. I went to this deep meditative experience. I started seeing huge numbers, 1495. So I correlated that to the year 1495. Stuck out to me the most, those numbers. And then I saw this man, long blonde hair. It was like he was a knight, like he was a fighter in the war, whatever, warrior. But he had long blonde hair. He didn't have his helmet on. And I just felt emotional when I saw him. It was like my soul knew when I saw this man that it was me. It was like, yo, that's me. Like, I felt emotional staring at him. But he didn't look like how I looked in this life. It was just another man with long blonde hair. Mm-hmm. But that's just what I saw. And so it was weird because I see this war scene, like people dying and all this crap happening, and I see that man with the long blonde hair had a lot of fear in his face. Like, I guess I was afraid because I knew I was about to die or something. I don't know. But anyways, it goes from me observing him from the outside's perspective, and then out of nowhere, I am thrown into his body, and I got to relive the last 5 minutes of my life. Like, I saw how I died, and it tripped me out. Because, you know, I'm like a 19-year-old kid, man, just meditating in my room, going through this experience sober. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what? Bro, so if you want to know how I died, I'm sure people want to know. All I remember is that it's nighttime. I see a burning log. There's a log on fire. And all I hear is suffering. People screaming. You know, obviously they're just dying. I just hear suffering. I guess I must have fell off my horse or something, because I was in a straight shock of like a state of fear, knowing like, oh crap, I'm on foot right now. Like, I was just on foot, afraid. And all I remember hearing is horses' footsteps behind me. Bro, this is when I die. I saw a sword come out of my chest. So that means that whoever killed me from the back literally backstabbed me. They put their sword through my back. It came out my chest. And when it came out my chest, I remember my eyes, my mouth opening, and I just saw all white, and I'm back in my room. And my meditation stopped, and I'm back in my room, in my body as CrewZ again. And I just got so emotional because I was like, what the what the hell happened to me? Like, I literally experienced dying. Like, I saw what happens the moment I die. Everything just goes white. And I saw this sword coming through my chest, and I heard the shielding sound going through my body. I guess because the armor I was wearing, I don't know. But what's weird, bro, is that in this lifetime, I was born with blonde hair until I was 3 or 4 years old. My hair turned dark brown, dark. And on my father's side, on his mother's side, my great-grandfather's biracial. He's half black African, half Italian. And the Italian side, their last name is Felisola, they were green-eyed and blonde hair. So I'm like, I must have reincarnated into the same bloodline 500 years later, because it just, the Italian correlation, the blonde hair, then that lifetime that I had, I mean, bro, it was just weird. You know what I mean? Like, it was just crazy.
Well, you've got the eyes of a warrior, for sure. Hey, CrewZ, what a great conversation tonight, my man. Thank you so much. Where can
for having me.
if somebody wants to go check you out right now, what's the best place to go and do it?
My biggest following is probably Instagram. _ CrewZ through life _ CrewZ is spelled CREWZ. That's literally my biggest platform where I have the most followers, like almost 40,000 at this point. But I'm everywhere. My music can be found on all platforms: Spotify, YouTube, Tidal, Apple Music. Just search CrewZ, CREWZ. You'll see my music. As I told earlier in this interview, I also am a meditation instructor. I created my own meditation course for anyone willing to learn, who wants to learn how to master breath, the benefits of meditation. I got a breathing exercise. I got a 30-minute guided meditation as well. All of these things, you can find it on my website for the meditation called meditatewithcrewz.thinkific.com. I know Jimmy added the link right there. But one last thing I want to add and share with you viewers is that I'm actually in the process of putting out my first book ever. It's called Becoming the Ultimate Human. I signed a publishing deal with Forbidden Knowledge, and it's due to release sometime towards the ending of this summer, beginning of fall, but it's already done. It's 11 chapters long. It's literally been my baby since January of 2022. I've been working on this book. It took me about 3 months to write it all. But man, I never thought I was going to be an author in this life, Jimmy. It just sounded too tedious for me. But with technologies nowadays, I literally just spoke my book into existence. It's just all recorded, and they managed to transcribe it. So I'm really excited to share this with you guys, because the book is called Becoming the Ultimate Human. I'm very passionate about attaining the highest aspect of the human experience. I want to know what it's like to become like Yeshua, Jesus Christ, Krishna, all of these beings, Babaji, Yogananda, Yuktiswara, Hari Maja. These are true earth avatars that had abilities beyond our perception and understanding. And I am obsessed with that. I want to obtain that. And so when I read the autobiography of a yogi by Paramahamsa Yogananda, you get exposed to the science of Kriya Yoga. And Kriya Yoga is a meditation of how a human being can attain God consciousness still in their human body, which is what these yogis did for thousands of years. So that book inspired me to write this book, because I now understand everything in terms of what is the highest potential of a human being? How can Jesus walk on water, heal the blind, all of these things that you think is fake, but it's all abilities that every human being has within them. So to unlock that, how does it look like? What journey are you going to come across when you make that conscious choice to say, yo, I want to become the ultimate human. I want to attain the ultimate form. What does that look like? That's what my book is about. It's basically the journey, explaining to you what you're going to come across when you choose to embark on that journey, what you're going to integrate, what you need to learn, all the different samadhis, mahasamadhi. It goes into a lot of deep things. So I'm really excited for this book. I just wanted to share that as the last thing with your viewers. So that way, if you guys are into reading, check that out. Follow me on Instagram, CrewZ Through Life. We're doing a lot of things, guys, a lot of things to awaken the people. We're even into foreign exchange market. I'm a Forex trader as well. I've been trading Forex for almost 3 years, and I'm getting into business with a good friend of mine. We have our own trading academy, but we're blending trading with spirituality, because meditation goes hand in hand with psychology when it comes to trading. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing. You know what I mean? And I'm very excited for it.
You're the best, man. You are a huge talent. CrewZ, what a show, and I'm just proud to call you friend. And thank you so much. Behave and be well. I can't wait till the next time you're on the show.
Yeah, let's get it, Jimmy. Appreciate you again. Honored, grateful to be here. Thank you so much, brother. Love you unconditionally. And thank you to all your viewers watching.
Thank you so much, CrewZ. And again, the links are below. They're over at jimmychurchradio.com. Everything you need to go follow, listen, and check out. and get involved with CrewZ is right there. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What a great show tonight. I had so much fun, totally inspired. And CrewZ, you hang right there. I'm going to talk to you some more after the show. And there you go. Tomorrow night, Karen Dahlman is here. Tomorrow night, we are going to do Ouija 101. This is a very serious masterclass going down tomorrow night. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee Dennis, and Kevin. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitola, and Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and this broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2022 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black of the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tomorrow night, Karen A. Dahlman is here. Until then, go back, Lee Tappy.